what's up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to fourth quarter, where we talk about from the fans' perspective all the awesome things in sports, college basketball, college football, NFL, NBA, everything, guys. And you can catch us on all where you find all the podcasts at Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google, iHeartRadio. So, all right, guys, what's going on? Craig and Mo, what's up?
Man, what's going on?
Playoffs are here.
It's hard to believe we in it now.
We in it. We in it. But before we talk about the NFL, guys, we have to talk about the college national championship team, which was, I think, the two best teams in college football. Washington versus Michigan, or maybe not, but they were the two representations of college football. Mo, what were your thoughts on the game, Michigan versus Washington?
Michigan saw something early with the run game, and they went at him. And I think the O-line for Michigan took it personal, so they give an award to the best O-line. And Michigan had won it the previous 2 years straight, and Washington's O-line won it this year. So I think they wanted to come out and just establish dominance early, like, hey, we the best O-line around here. And I think they took it to them in a way that Washington's had given up a lot in the run game during the season, but not like that, where a team just straight. It was just like every time you were seeing D linemen on the ground, you were seeing Michigan O linemen getting up to the second level. It was just a real dominating performance. And Michael Penix, you could tell he looked frustrated at times. They didn't get the real deep balls. He used to throw in the 20-yard or plus throws. But they look good. One thing I'm hearing already, a lot of people said, I've heard an analyst talk about J.J. McCarthy talk about the quarterback. They said if you look at it, because of the run game was so dominant, he really didn't show flashes of like taking over a ball game or being that dominant quarterback. They said he might need to come back a year if he's talking about trying to improve his draft status. Even though he's a winner, they said he really don't have nothing on film that can show you that he can come take over NFL offense and be that guy that will have to throw the ball 30 times.
If he comes out, he's a 4th round, 5th round.
Yeah, so they think he should come back. I don't know.
You don't think so? You think he's lower, Craig? Undrafted?
No, I think he's higher. I don't think he's going to go.
What?
He was projected the first round before, like he was projected the first round.
I don't
think he's a first round quarterback, though. I don't think.
I'm not saying he's a first round quarterback. I'm saying he's projected the first round quarterback.
He's projected first round.
He's not going to drop from 1st to 4th. To me, I don't think so.
I think because of the need, it's possible for him to be a first rounder, second rounder. But
you might be right, Chris.
People still got him in the first round.
Yeah, he might be right.
I don't think
he's overvalued, but it's gonna probably be 5 QBs picked. So Craig probably right. If it's 5 QBs picked, JJ McCarthy is going first round.
Hold up, yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, he's 26-1 as a starter.
No, you got Williams, May,
Penix,
Nix, and Daniels.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, if he go before one of them, it must be a coach or a coordinator that saw something.
He's not going before any of them. No, he's not going before any of them. Nah, he ain't going before none of them.
I mean,
he still might go first round though.
He doesn't turn the ball over.
He's
not really.
I don't blame him that he's been in a position where he hasn't had to throw the ball a lot. Like he can't help. He's in a running position offense. It's not like they did it because he can't throw. He can throw. He just hasn't had the chance to really show he could take over a ball game with his arm.
Right.
Especially against good teams. Because they've always been able to run the ball enough to just run, play action. He can make a throw here and there. He's never really been in a situation, especially against good teams, we had to sit there and throw the ball 30 times a game or 25 or 30. The run game been so dominant. So.
All right. Craig, what were your thoughts of Michigan versus Washington? How did you like the game? Did you enjoy it? What was your?
I like the game. I mean, growing up, I was part of a Michigan. I like Michigan, so I got family there and all that. So I kind of grew up with them. But I thought that kind of like what Mo said, like the offensive line, they dominated early with the running game. I think at the end of the first quarter, they were averaging something like 19 yards a carry, which is crazy. And they didn't really need too much out of the passing game, except when they needed to, because I mean, they were struggling on the passing game with, especially on third downs. But when they needed it late in the fourth quarter, he made a big throw to the tight end, I believe, and he got down the field, and then they ended up scoring. And on the other side, the defense, which was, I mean, the second best defense behind Penn State, they weren't really getting to the quarterback in terms of sacks, but they were getting to the quarterback in terms of hits and
They were hitting him. Yeah, they were hitting him.
Phoenix ended up getting. I mean, he was hurt, so
he definitely was holding his ribs in the game.
Yeah, they touched him. They touched him up. They touched him up.
That didn't help the team. But on the other, I mean, but for Washington, there were some opportunities there, and they just missed some throws. I think he was like 2 for 11 on passes longer than 15 yards. So he missed a bunch of opportunities. That one play, I think it was the second quarter, he had his top wide receiver. I can't remember how to spell it. Can't remember how to say his name, but he had his top wide receiver open, and he just uncharacteristically just missed him. And then again later on in the I think it was the third or fourth quarter, he had another couple of passes that he just missed. And then that interception, the second interception, he had his receiver on the left. He had looked over there, and that's his number one guy. He said he looked to the right, and he just threw it to like 3 defenders. So
yeah,
Penix just had a bad game. I don't think this is like I don't know what the word is. I don't think this is who he is as a quarterback. I think he's had bigger and better moments. I don't think if he was still a first-round quarterback in somebody's draft board or whatever.
Yes, he is.
The first-round quarterback in your draft board, I don't think he's going to drop him off like that.
Yeah.
And for the other side, I think McCarthy, he's just never been that guy to go out and – my God, it's raining hard. He's never been that guy to go out.
It's raining like a bug.
He's never been that guy to go out and like Mo said and have to pass the ball a lot to put yardage on the books, I guess. They've been a run first offense, so that's what they did, and it worked in this game. I mean, they just dominated them up front, man, and it was just a crazy performance. I mean, they didn't have one touchdown pass, so you got to give hats off to Michigan and what Harbaugh was able to do there. And I don't know if I'm assuming this is his final game that he coached. He did what he needed to do at Michigan, and he brought that team for the first time since like the 50s.
Undisputed. Yeah, it's since 1946, I think, undisputed.
Yeah, it's been that's okay. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
So, been that long since they were the outright champions. So I mean, '97 they had to share it with Nebraska. So I mean, and Michigan before Harbaugh was there, Michigan wasn't really that good if you really think about it. And he's kind of taken the team, especially the last 3 years where they've got to the CFP. The last 3 years, they were out first round both games last year or the last 2 years, and then they ended up winning it all this year. So hats off to Michigan, is well deserved. So
yeah, man. Actually, it was a nice game. I really enjoyed it. And I think I sent the text out when Michigan scored the second running touchdown. I was like, oh, okay, this could get out of hand because, shout out to Harbaugh, how he turns around programs. And I'm starting to notice with something with him and his brother, all their teams are physical teams, and they dominate you by the line of scrimmage in their running teams. So, it's very, very interesting. I think we'll talk about potential head coaches, but I think he's going to leave. I think he accomplished what he was supposed to do, being Michigan's head coach. But they physically dominated the line of scrimmage, man. When you start running the ball that much. They were averaging 8 yards a play, Craig. Washington was averaging 4 yards a play. 8 yards a play? That's a first step. You're not even there's no third downs. There's none. They weren't in that many third and longs because they were those two running backs, man, were pounding the rock. And I think Harbaugh just put together. He's really good with putting together programs. He's a
San Francisco bad when he got there. When San Francisco rough when he got there.
San Francisco was bad.
Stanford was bad.
Stanford was bad. Yeah, Michigan was bad. I mean, I'm just saying we're gonna talk about the future head coaches, but shout out to Washington too. The head coach is probably gonna get a bigger opportunity. Or he can stay at Washington. And Michael Penix showed toughness. I don't think it's really going to affect his draft status. I think him being who he is, he's a traditional quarterback.
Right. And I mean, he got a great story too. Everybody loves the story. Like he had 4 season-ending injuries at Indiana, and then the dude that's his coach was with him at Indiana, and he got the job and took Penix with him. So
and not only the story, just the way, right? He is older. Him and Bo Nix are older, but you gotta think if you believe in this kid and he gives you 10 quality years, that's worth the first round.
How about that? Yeah.
Like,
I don't care how old you are. If you give an organization 7 to 10 quality years,
7 to 10 quality years at quarterback, you good to go.
Round pick, you got it done right there.
You got it. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was a good for college football. I can't wait till the 12-team playoff next year. That's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be awesome, man. I can't wait. That's gonna be like
I like it. It put more pressure on these head coaches. Because if you're gonna say and make it $10 million, it's like now if you can't make
let's see your playoff recipes. Yeah. There's going to be – listen, teams are probably going to be left out, but it's 12 teams. There's a lot of teams. There's going to be some good teams in there.
And you already know
it's going to be some good football.
If you got a 9-10 win SEC team, they automatically get in.
Probably, yeah. Probably, but it's going to be some good football because the Big Ten is expanded now. I think it has Oregon, UCLA, and USC. That joint's going – it's going – and they got Washington too.
Yeah, they play Michigan next year too.
Yeah. See, the Big Ten gonna put a lot of teams in there too. Big Ten gonna put a lot of teams in there. Oregon be good every year. Then you got Texas. Texas is gonna be back. It's gonna be some good. It's gonna be some good. I'm pretty excited next year for college football. It's gonna be nice, and hopefully they do their playoffs. Kind of like the end of December. You know what I'm saying?
You're not.
You think they're gonna do it in January?
No, they're doing them in December. I saw the schedule. It's like before.
Nice.
It's before the bowl games start, I think, or right around that time.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah, because if your seeds in the 1 through 4 get buys, so if you the top 4 get buys, so the top seeds get I think 5 through 12. I think 5. If you the 5 seed, the 6 seed, or the 7 seed, or the 8 seed, or the 8-9 matchup, you get the game on your campus.
So
okay.
Next year the first round is the 20th and the 21st, and then there are bowl games on the 31st, and then the 1st. Then the semifinals are on the 9th and the 10th. So one game on the 9th.
So this weekend.
Championship's on the 20th. So you got to go
over.
Hey, Craig.
So wait a minute. The semifinals are going to be playoff wild card weekend. Golly.
Yeah, it might bump into each other.
They need to play Friday.
Hey, Craig, that group of five champions, are they automatically the 5 seed? I think they're automatically the 5 seed, aren't they?
The group of 5?
Yeah, or they automatically 12. It's something they automatically get. It's a seed. I think they automatically put that group of 5 as.
Who?
Well, nah, because when I look, I don't know, because when I look at this schedule, it says that Liberty would have been the 12 seed.
Oh, so they automatically 12 seed. So what they do is that's gonna be a dangerous 5-12 matchup then.
They would have played Florida State this year.
They would have played Florida State. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's very interesting.
You put a 12-win, 10-win, 11-win group of 5 as a 12 seed against a 5 seed who probably going to be maybe 11-2, 10-2, shaky, outside looking in, might be blown, catch them on the off swing. Yeah.
Nah, the semifinals are on a Thursday and a Friday next year.
Perfect.
That Monday, the 20th championship game. So
that's a whole football weekend. Then that's a whole crazy.
That's a whole football weekend. Well, we can think about it. NFL, the NFL, they could get that Thursday night because they're not going to have Thursday night football at that time. So that's going to be good for college football. I'm gonna watch it because I'm used to watching Thursday night football anyway. So I'm gonna definitely watch that. And then on Friday, there's no NFL games. NBA around this time is still starting to warm up a little bit. That's perfect.
Still finding footing.
Those are 2 prime time.
It'll be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday because there's a Monday night football game. Playoffs. It'll be an NFL Monday night game.
NFL goes hard. They're going Saturday, Sunday, Monday, right?
Yeah. So
they got that weekend locked. So I wouldn't put no sports on that weekend.
They extended it.
Not the NFL wild card weekend. You don't want to put no game because you're not. If I see the NFL or college, I'm watching the NFL every time, especially if it's the playoffs. Now listen, we might get a dud game. Well, we're gonna talk about it. You might have a dud game. I might switch, but I'm starting off with the NFL. Anyway, Mo, your top 4 college basketball ranking.
All right, so I'm gonna stay with the top 4. I'm actually watching number 2 play right now, and they're down double digits. On the road to Iowa State. But I got Purdue number 1. I got Houston number 2, who's playing right now against Iowa State. I got Kansas number 3. I got UConn number 4. But this is the first time I've seen Houston play, and they look kind of they in the rough. But Iowa State always been a tough, place to play. Whether it's been basketball, football, that can always be for upset. So
yeah. All right, cool.
But we in conference play now, so let's see how it's going to look. How it's going to look now. I think all 4 of these teams could be a Final Four type of team, national championship team. Purdue's always been something that's let us down. So let's see what we do. I know when bracket time comes, people gonna be shaking to put Purdue's away. They gonna be like,
I'm not putting Purdue anywhere close on my bracket because they've let me down multiple years in a row.
Listen. Hey, we still doing the bracket, Drake, again this year?
Yeah, we're gonna always do the bracket, Drake, man. Always
who won the drill last year? Who won the drill last year? I forgot who had the most points last year.
Wasn't me.
I think I picked. Who won it? I think I picked UConn to win it.
I picked Arizona. I will not be picking them this year.
I think I picked UConn.
I forgot who
I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna figure it out.
I think I picked Texas. I want to say I either said.
I don't know if I picked UConn. I don't think I picked UConn. Hold on. I might have picked Villanova.
I said Kansas. I remember.
I don't know, but I'm gonna definitely find out. All right, so Craig, Black Monday and head coaching firing. So Ron Rivera was fired on Black Monday. For everybody that is listening, Black Monday is considered the Monday in the NFL where after the season ends on that Sunday, Monday, the head coaches get fired. They call it Black Monday. Okay. Ron Rivera was fired. We all knew that was happening. Never had a winning season. Arthur Blank was fired at 12:01 Sunday night, leading into Monday. He was fired 12:01 a.m. I believe so. In 12 a.m. in the morning, he was fired. He was like, they didn't even wait till the morning time. Like, you need to be up answering your phone at 12, which is crazy. Mike Vrabel is fired as well. And still waiting on Belichick. So now that leaves a total of 6 We calculated it earlier. So, Craig, what are your thoughts about the firings, and do you think there are more firings ahead?
No, I don't. I mean, besides the Belichick thing, which I don't think is going to be a firing, I think it's going to be a mutual parting ways. So, I mean, he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest coach. So, I mean, I don't think you need to fire him to have him step down or whatever. So, I don't think the Saints coach is going to get fired from what I've been reading or something like that. I think he's going to stay.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but I will get that later.
I think it's because the team had I'll talk about it. But other than that, I thought maybe the Bears coach, but I don't think so now. I think they might try to stick it out with him. So I think this is it. But as far as the firings, the first one, obviously Arthur Smith. I think the team, just because the division was so bad and there was just nothing there. I mean, like the team kind of played well in the beginning, then they kind of fizzled out late. So, and they had opportunities to win that division, but I mean, I could understand why they got rid of them, just because that division is so bad. Rivera's just been there too long and never had a winning season, so he definitely needed to go. I like Ron Rivera. I thought he did a really good job in Carolina. Well, not a really good. I thought he did a pretty good job in Carolina, or a good job. Obviously got into the Super Bowl, and but he only had like 3 winning seasons, 3 double-digit win seasons throughout his whole career. So, you guys being a Commanders fan and me being a Panthers fan, Ron Rivera for I don't know how many years it's been now, 10 plus years.
Yes.
So, I think it's that time. I think he's probably. I think he might get a job as a defensive coordinator or something like that. But I wouldn't hire him as a head coach at this time. Plus, he had 2 here in Washington with him being coach and GM or whatever, and he just made some bad decisions. He made a lot of bad decisions.
Yep.
The draft and like not leaving it to somebody else. He just put too much on his plate, which I understand. I mean, that's what you want. As a head coach, you want power. I don't know who's going to have that power again, or who would have the type of power again. Maybe Harbaugh if he leaves.
We'll get into it. We'll get into it.
Something like that. I don't know. Maybe if Belichick goes to LA or something like that, maybe they do it. But and then the last one that happened today, I said one of my things was going to be Mike Vrabel, and I thought
you did. You said it a minute ago.
Just because I didn't think another team who's in a winnable or on paper before the season started, it was an easy looking division, just like the NFC South. And I mean, surprise! There's a team with 10 wins, and it was not the Jaguars; it was the Texans. But I just thought Mike Vrabel, he's been there for quite a number of years.
6, 7 years.
He's been there, and he's had 3 playoff appearances, 3 not, so 50%. He's had some ups and downs. The quarterback position, he's had kind of like a carousel. I think he's kind of stuck with Tannehill for a little while, but he's had Mariota.
He was there 6 seasons.
He's had Mariota. He's had obviously Tannehill, Willis, Levis. I think he had Dobbs there for a couple games. So he's had a couple of quarterbacks there that he's had to try to make something out of, and he just hasn't really. I mean, it's at one point they had the best record in the whole AFC. They just ended up losing to the team that went to the bowl, which was Cincinnati that year. One year they got to the AFC Championship game. They lost to the Chiefs. I think they were up in that game, I believe, and the Chiefs came back. So I just thought it was time. I just thought that the other teams were, especially after the season started to go on, other teams were starting to trend in that up direction, and they were starting to go down. So I'm not surprised that he got let go. So I think out of the coaches that have been fired so far, including the 3 that got fired earlier in the season, I'm not surprised about any of those guys getting fired or whatever the case may be. I guess the only one still left, like I said, is Bill Belichick. So we'll see what happens there. But this is what it is, man. Like you not look forward to it, but you know this is coming every single year, and you just want to know who's it going to be or whatever it is. And if it's not the guy, like the coach for the Bears, like why? Like why is he still there? Maybe they'll give him an opportunity if he's going to draft his quarterback that he can just or stick with Fields, I think this is an opportunity for him to draft his own quarterback and give him a year to see. Okay, you didn't want Fields.
Yeah.
Cool. Now we're gonna give you an opportunity to draft your guy. Boom, you draft.
Yeah.
And you'll see how it plays out. Because the Bears started out 0-4, I believe, and they finished 7 and 10. 7-6 overall in the season. They finished 7-6, so they had to win a record. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and speaking of the head coach, in the Bears quarterback situation, if they keep the head coach and the GM, at this point their job's on the line, and they're probably going to take Caleb Williams as a safe bet.
I probably would.
At this point, yeah, I definitely would.
I don't think
and listen here. Do you know they could get Caleb Williams, and they still have the 8th pick in the draft, guys?
9th.
The 9th. That's like what Houston just did. You know what I'm saying? That's how you turn around franchises.
Yeah, they got though. They were 2 and 3.
Yeah, but still, they were able to get. What if they get Caleb Williams and then they get the Washington receiver? Or they could get, you know what I'm saying? Like, so he gonna have DJ Moore, Cole, man. That's all I'm saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're just in a really good position. And they said this draft is loaded. So besides tackles, I think it's 2 solid tackles, and then after that, I think it drops off to the second round. Yeah, if you're reaching for a tackle, you're gonna reach for a tackle after the first 2. That's it. We'll get to the draft, and draft talk this year. Maybe we'll do something different. Maybe we'll break down who you think the top 5 positions are. Anyway. But that's not until March. For the coaches, man, I'm not surprised with Ron Rivera. Arthur Blank,
Smith.
Yes, Arthur Blake's the owner. Arthur Smith. So the thing is with Arthur Smith is that you have all those young receivers and tight ends, and you have Bijan Robinson, and it seems like you just weren't. And you got Cordell Patterson, and it just seemed like they weren't coached well. The schemes that they were running, it looked like he was kind of overwhelmed. It seemed like he was overwhelmed because they had, like Craig said, they had all chance to win the division, but they didn't. And listen, that division is not good. And Derek Carr's already, he's on notice next year. He's on notice because if they don't win a division next year, he's on notice because that's when his contract runs out. Vrabel, I kind of heard some things about Mike Vrabel. I heard that he wanted to. He didn't get along with the new GM, and I think it was kind of a power struggle. So they were like, all right. And I heard it was too complicated to trade him. So they were like, all right, we're out. Basically, it's not a mutual parting of the ways. He got fired. So they were like, all right, we can't trade you. We're going to fire you. So he's been atop a lot of lists. We're definitely going to go over that when we go over our franchises because neither of our franchises have a GM or a head coach right now. But we're going to get to that a little later. And then, of course, we know the other 3 teams that fired their coaches mid-season: Frank Wright, Josh McDaniels, Brandon Staley. They didn't finish out the season, so we know that they're looking. So it's just Vrabel surprised me a little bit. Very interesting. Also, words coming out that Tomlin might take a break. His contract's up in a year. He might go to TV. He might go to TV. I mean, he's been coaching a long time. I was listening to Colin Cowherd. He said the 2 TV executives said that they're going to hire him and offer him 7 figures to talk on TV. I'm assuming probably Fox and Prime might be involved in that, or he might be on NBC.
CBS get you 2
CBS.
Pittsburgh.
I guess, I can see it with CBS. I can see it, but that's what I heard. I don't know. At first I was like, no, and then I was like, well, wait a minute. He's been coaching for a long time. It makes sense to take a year off and to reassess.
17 years.
You know what I'm saying? And it might be good for Pittsburgh to get some new blood in there. You know, kind of like the Cowher effect. So Pittsburgh, they might. That's the only thing that's not a firing, but something to watch out for. Same with Belichick. And I don't believe this hype in the Eagles firing Nick Sirianni. I don't think they are. I don't think Mike McCarthy is getting fired. I don't think Sean McDermott. I know you're gonna say something though, and I don't think Sean McDermott is gonna get fired. I don't think no coaches are gonna get fired that are in the playoffs right now. Even though some people are calling for Nick Sirianni, some people are calling for Mike McCarthy if he doesn't go far. So those are just some names to watch. I don't think nothing's going to happen to him.
How you gonna call for Nick Sirianni? He's got the team to the Super Bowl.
I don't know, but people are talking about it. I'm telling you, people are talking about it. You know, it's a topic that's been going around. It is. It's crazy. I've heard it on two sports shows today. I heard it on first. Mike Greeny was talking about it.
He's an idiot.
No, but it was not. What's his show? It's not. It's Get Up. Get Up. Yeah. But he has a lot of.
He's on.
He has a lot. He has a lot. The people around him are good because sometimes he'll have RC on there. He'll have
good.
Marcus Spears. He'll have some people on there. I rock with. Dan Orlovsky eating pancakes off the floor. Anyway, all right, Mo.
Jesus Christ.
He did. You didn't see that, Chuck? Craig see that, Chuck. He
said because I'm white.
Because he was like you're not on TV where people can see you grabbing a pancake off of the ground, eat and tasting it. It was nasty. It was nasty. All right, Mo. This is your thing. You got
So Rivera went without saying. Just as a one. Then when you became the DC, you were giving up 35 points a game. So just had to do it. I respect that the owners kept their word. They told him they'll give him a year. So that's why they let him just go ahead and fire Jack Del Rio and take over the coordinator, just get through the year. But they had to do it. I think the only reason they didn't do it on Sunday was because it was his birthday, so they waited the next day.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it was his 67. It was his 62nd birthday on Sunday, so they I think that's why they didn't want to pull that plug on his birthday, so they waited the next day.
He probably knew though.
With Arthur Smith, Arthur Blank had no choice. I heard he called him in the office. I heard they met for almost over an hour, but decided that if you go 7-10 3 straight years, and we've been drafting these, and your offensive dude, we've been drafting offensive pieces for you to get better. And nothing's come of it. And then this quarterback carousel you've been on, like the back and forth with no stability. I think it just he had to do it. With Vrabel, I think the writing was on the wall, and I think Vrabel sees that this organization is about to do a reset. Tannehill's about to be out of there. I think D-Hop's going to be out of there. Derrick Henry's going to be out of there. So was he really about to sit around?
Is D-Hop on a 1 year?
I don't know what D-Hop thing is, but I don't see him standing there. If Tannehill and Derrick about to leave, I don't see him standing there. He'll probably ask for a trade. I don't see him being a good soldier and playing with Levis.
He gonna go to Kansas City.
Yeah, so I don't know how that's going, but it's gonna be a total rebuild there. But I wonder if that owner is going to force the hand to work with Levis, or are they going to reset and get a quarterback? I don't know, and keep Levis there. I don't know how that's going to go. But I think Vrabel's going to be up top of many people's list. I'm not saying we should hire him, but we definitely should bring him in as an interview.
You said Vrabel?
Yeah, I'm not saying hire him.
We're gonna get to that. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, but I think I could see Tomlin taking a break after this season with so much been going on. I'm hearing Belichick is open to staying and open to even letting go some of his duties as far as the player personnel in order to stay. I heard he's open to it. I guess letting go of some of those responsibilities. But we'll see. People say that, and then things go different. I think Doug McDermott is safe as long as they got this first round. If they lose to Buffalo, I think conversations.
You mean if they lose to Steelers?
They lose to Pittsburgh. Conversations won't be had. Dallas, I think McCarthy's safe, but I think honestly this year, with him getting the 2 seed, if he lose at home in the divisional, even if it's Detroit, I don't know. I know 3 straight years divisional, and 2 of the last 3 being at home. Jerry might have a serious convo with him. I understand he been winning 12 games or whatever, but it might be another Dungy situation. You just not the guy to get us over the hump. Other than that, I don't see anybody else. I think every other coach that's in the playoffs is safe. It's safe. But those I'm not surprised by anything. Nothing's caught me off guard yet. Where I'd be like, wow, I didn't see that kind of coming there. But it's gonna be interesting to see what else happens.
All right. So I'm gonna start off with Craig with this, and then Mo, because we're both Commander fans, we're gonna talk about it back and forth. But Craig, what are the top 3 2024 season changes that you want the Panthers, that you would love the Panthers to see? Like, who would you like them to hire? Like, what is your 3 perfect off-season program for the Panthers? You're the owner. Boom, David Tepper.
I mean,
I see they fired the GM.
Yeah, I would say they need to start with a GM first.
Now, do you want me to tell you who they're interested? Have you seen who they're interested in?
I've seen a list of people, but I have no clue who a lot of these people are. So I mean, it's not. I mean, they're not, to me, they're not household names. So I really, in terms of GM, I don't really know anything about them for the most part. To be like, oh yeah, he's going to be a great hire, or no, or whatever the case may be. I have no clue. But I seen they were interested in 1, 2, 3. The GM from the Giants, assistant GM from the Giants, assistant GM from the Bucks, the Eagles, the Saints, the Colts, the Ravens VP, the Raiders GM or interim GM, and the Chiefs VP. So, but I mean, they asked for permission to talk to those guys yesterday. So I'm not sure when they're going to get around to getting to talk to them. But I know they're trying to work on this pretty fast. So I would like to see a GM, obviously, then a head coach. I think they have 9 guys that they requested to talk to.
Yeah, it's a lot.
6 OCs: Ben Johnson, Bobby Slowick, Brian Callahan. Who is this? Frank Smith, who I really like. Todd Monken and Dave Canellis, and then 3 defensive coordinators, which are Mike McDonald, Dan Quinn, and Raheem Morse. And then hopefully they would also like to interview Evero, who's on the staff, because he had that. Evero did all he could do for that team, keeping that defense as a top. I think they were finished 3rd or 4th in terms of total yards.
Yeah, their defense is good.
Ask much from him when you have injuries with Shaq Thompson. J.C. Horn always seems to get hurt. So you have guys like that who are hurt. Definitely some of your top guys, and then you have the offense not being able to move the ball or put up points, and the defense is right back out there. So he only can do so much, or coach him up so much, and he did all he could do, and still got the team overall as a top 3 or 4 defense. So I think he deserves at least an interview. I would I wouldn't even mind if he got hired, even though I do want an offensive guy. So I think my first, I guess, I really like Frank Smith. I know everybody's high on Ben Johnson. I really like Frank Smith because I like the way they run all the motion. And I mean, they have the pieces, obviously. Carolina doesn't, but I like the way he has the command with the motion and guys just constantly moving. And he has 2 running backs. Carolina has 2 running backs. I don't think they're as good as those 2 in Miami, obviously, but he has 2 running backs if he wants to use them. Need some wide receivers and some a better offensive line, but I really like him. Obviously, Ben Johnson is probably the hottest name out there. He interviewed with the Panthers last year, turned it down. I mean, I would too, obviously, because the team is just in disarray. But I just want to know who actually wants to come to Carolina, because you have to deal with a owner who meddles, I guess, kind of all in everything to me, because the whole Bryce Young, CJ Stroud thing with the draft and how that went down, and coach wanted Stroud, and then he meddled in and picked Young, or I don't know, whatever the case may be. So I don't know, man. It's just too much. And then he fires guys like that, and he hires weird guys like Matt Rule. So
that was crazy.
On drinks at fans, like he's just a mess, man. So I don't know if anybody really wants to. I mean, somebody's going to take it because it's a head coaching job. Who wouldn't?
Yes,
be a head
somebody
coach?
will get the opportunity.
But I mean, if you had first pick at this job or the Falcons or any other 5 jobs out there, possibly 6 with the Patriots, why would you want to pick this team? So they're going to have to figure that out. And I guess my number 3 is it's tough between offensive line and getting some guys to throw the ball to. I probably would go O-line just because the O-line needs to be better. That'd probably be one of my first big priorities. Try to get some protection for him because, I mean, as a shorter quarterback, he's just getting that line is just not good. I mean, it's serviceable, but it's not good enough for me to be protecting a young quarterback like Bryce Young, for him getting hit all the time or whatever. So they got to figure that out too. I don't know how they're going to go about doing that. They tried to draft some people a couple years, dude from Notre Dame, Christensen, or no, I think he either went to Notre Dame or BYU, I can't remember. Brady Christensen. They drafted the kid from NC State. They went out and got Bozeman, the center, a couple years ago. They still have Taylor Mosley. So I mean, they have pieces. It just doesn't work. It's just not a good offensive line. So, GM first, coach, and then try to figure out what you want to do in the offseason with the free agency, or I mean, the draft is kind of a done deal because you're not picking until the second round, and they only have like 6 picks. So that's not going to be good enough. So they got to try to figure some things out in free agency, and hopefully they can. I mean, I don't. You can't get really any worse. Oh, well, I guess you could, because I mean, you could go 0 for 1, but I mean, 2-15. Come on, man. So they got to figure some things out. I don't know if anybody's had a worse record than 2-15 since they went to 17 games. So I don't know. They got some things to figure out.
All right, Mo. We are both Commanders fans.
Nope, that's nobody.
Yep. So, let me ask you, Mo. What's the first thing?
So the first thing, I'm all in with these 2 names right here. I'm open to other interviews, but I'm big on, now that Mike Vrabel's out there, if we don't get Ben Johnson, I would like Mike Vrabel in there, a professional, steady hand, a professional dude that's going to bring a physical mentality, because we were soft as donut this year. We were soft. I'm talking about like how they said it on Life. We was soft, man. It was terrible. Like, it was just no passion, no physicality in us at all at times for most of the season. Second thing for me is an upgrade to the O-line and the linebacker core through free agency or the draft, and build a physical culture. Right now, there's no physicality with us right now. And I think O-line was just terrible. And no disrespect to Cosby. I mean, to dude, but what's his name? Our guard, he was the best O-lineman, and it wasn't even close. Like, he was the best O-lineman all year. They weren't even close. And we went out and spent money and went out and got a dude, Andrew Wiley, who was terrible. Like this terrible. Like it was just week after week. You see him getting worn out. It don't matter who the DM was. He was getting worn out. Third thing I want to see us do is we have to hit and be sure on this quarterback situation because McLaurin is sick of it. Yeah? And I salute him for being a good soldier, for the face he's had on. But we're talking about dudes had 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons. He done played with 12 different quarterbacks. Ridiculous, yeah. So I'm not mad at getting a quarterback in this draft, but be sure and you have to hit on it. I'm not mad no more. I get it. Hal has his struggles. I get it. Jay, you brought me to the light. But be sure and you have to hit on it because McLaurin's going to be out of there. You have to be sure you have to hit on it.
Listen. I agree with you. And so with the new ownership, they did something already that I love. They hired Bob Myers and Rick Spellman to help them look for their GM and head coach. Bob Myers, listen, he's an NBA guy, but he knows how to build an organization. Can't deny that. Rick Spellman was the GM for the Vikings, who I don't understand why they got rid of him because he drafted some nice pieces and they were winning underneath him. Right? So I kind of like that. That's the first thing is you have to start getting consultants and people from winning organizations. And which means we're probably going to swing big and I'm going to tell you what I think our organization is going to go towards. But that's the first thing I like to see. The second thing, I'm not gonna address any player personnel because that's going to be determined on the coach and GM. I think those are the most important things in order. Then you could start building up the culture. But that's the first thing. The second thing is I like that they are looking at and interviewing Adam. Hold on, I gotta get to his name. Adam Peters. So like Craig says, we don't know who these people are, but I like if the team is good and has good talent, I like it. But we're interviewing the Chiefs assistant general manager, Glenn Cook, the Browns assistant general manager. Browns have built a good team. Ian Cunningham, Bears assistant, Alex Hollaby, Eagles, and Adam Peters. I think Adam Peters is very important because he kind of reminds me of somebody when I get to my third one of who we're going to hire. I think that if we can get him, the 49ers assistant general manager who's learned from John Lynch on how to run an organization, and the 49ers have picked phenomenal talent. Phenomenal talent. They've won the West. And we just talked about them last week. Their team is not built to go anywhere. They still got 2 years of Purdy, so they can re-sign everybody. They can lock in everybody they have. They can have the same team 2 more years from now. And I think in that time, they'll either go to a Super Bowl or win it. But that's where you want your organization to be at, where you put yourself in that position. And that comes with culture. That comes with leadership. That comes with structuring how organizations should move and work. So that's what I like, and hopefully they hire him. Now for head coach, it's I'm getting weird things. Everybody knows Mike McDonald. Everybody's trying to copy his defense, which is the Ravens defense. Which I'm not going to lie, the way they shut down San Francisco is crazy. He's a young person, and This is what I kind of like about Mike McDonald. Now, listen, if we can do what Houston did, draft a good quarterback at number 2 and have a phenomenal defense, we could be in the playoffs next year because that's what it takes, right? But you know, all Raheem Morris, that's another good young guy. We are looking at a lot of defensive coordinators, and we are looking at Ben Johnson. But so that's what I think, right? The third reason is we have the second pick in the draft. I think I know this is crazy and we haven't got to this part yet. The more that I look at Drake May's profile, the more I like him. Now, he's a prototypical quarterback, but I think that we draft Drake May because right now Caleb's going to Chicago. It's Justin Fields didn't save his job. He didn't save his job. You don't think they're gonna trade him?
Listen,
you think they're gonna trade the number 1 pick?
Listen here.
People's jobs depend on this now.
I understand that. But let me say this though. Either way, Eberflus gonna have 1 year. So let me ask you this question. Now let me ask you this though. Does Caleb alone, because a lot of free agents don't go to Chicago, so does Caleb alone get?
Yes, they're better. Yes, they're better. They're a better team with Caleb.
With that, just DJ wide receiver, with just DJ without adding nothing else.
Yeah, I think he's better because listen, you gotta see Jordan Love in your division twice. You gotta see Golf in your division. You need a quarterback.
You need to score though. You gotta score. You gotta ask them all.
Justin Fields doesn't score. We've seen 3 years of him, Mo. You want to see 4? You gotta start paying him now.
Let me tell you this.
I just rather start over, and Caleb Williams is a good prospect.
But let me tell you, I get it. But let me mark my word on this one. Somebody's gonna trade for Fields and gonna get a heck of a player. And
I hope they do. I hope he thrives. I hope he goes to Atlanta and does good. I just think that he's not a good quarterback for Chicago.
Yeah.
If Chicago had the 8th pick and didn't have the number 1 pick, I would be like, keep him. But like they're just in a situation where if my job is on the line, I'm going to at least get a quarterback to reset because that resets everything. It resets everything. The coach is going to get more time. Like it just resets everything.
I don't think they're gonna give him more time. That's crap.
Maybe coach might be out in a year, but I don't think so. Not if they draft his guy, because he's gonna say Justin Fields wasn't his guy, and that's true.
Let me say this: he got at least improving the win total. I ain't saying he got to go to playoffs, but he can't be no 6-7 wins.
Yeah, but anyway, let me go back. I think we're gonna draft Drake May, a number 2 pick. We're not gonna give up any assets, and I think that we're going to hire Adam Peters, and I think we're going to hire Jim Harbaugh. We're going to get Jim Harbaugh. We're going to get Drake May, and we're going to be good for a second, man. We're going to be good for a second, man. I think they're going to go big. I think Bob Myers is going to go. I think they're going to swing big. I think we're going to go after Harbaugh, a big name. It's close to his brother, Baltimore. It's close. He's a big family. He's a big family guy. Do not underestimate that. Because I think he's going to leave Michigan. I think he's going to leave college football. You know what I'm saying? San Diego has some cap issues. So you got to understand, Washington has the number 2 pick, and we have draft capital. We don't have a bad team, and we have $100 million in cap space. We don't have a listen. Like I think we have players. I think we have Terry McLaurin is a good player.
We do. We need better coaching.
Johnson is.
I think we need better coaching. But this is the reason I would be excited for Harbaugh.
I think that's what he's going. I think that's what he's going to do, and he's going to work. Whether or not Drake May is good, if he gets Drake May, who's been a good prospect his whole life, that comes from a football family, he's going to coach Drake May up. That's what Harbaugh does.
No, but I'm gonna tell you the reason why I like.
That's what he does.
I'm gonna tell you the reason I like the Harbaugh offer or the Harbaugh hire. he's going to build a culture and build around the front. Because I've said this multiple times on here.
He gonna build the lineup.
Ryan Robinson is a 1,300-yard back to me. But you can't do that with the O-line. We've seen when he's had blocking what he can do.
That's the first thing he's gonna do. He's gonna get that O-line straight. And we're gonna be a physical team. You call us soft. If we get Harbaugh, we're gonna be a physical team.
That's it.
Everywhere he goes, the teams are physical. Michigan dominated Washington at both lines of scrimmage. That's what Harbaugh is about. Look what his brother does in Baltimore. It's the same thing. They dominate the line of scrimmage. I'm telling you, man. So I don't be surprised just because it's a new owner. Bob Myers made a big splash. I just think that they're going to make a splash. I don't know that's going to happen because I'm hearing the owner wants somebody young. So I can see Mike. It seems like we're leaning defense. I don't know why.
I don't know why either. Like, who out there young that's D coordinators right now? I mean, outside
Mike McDonald, Aaron Glenn, they looking at Raheem Morris and Dan Quinn.
I mean, do you think Detroit loses both coordinators? You think both of them get a head coach job, or you think one leaves with the other, or how does that?
I don't know. It's six up, and so Ben Johnson's probably like on everybody's list. Aaron Glenn's on the Chargers list, and so is Raheem Morris.
Y'all think Dan Quinn takes a job this year, or gets a job this year, or you think he stay Dallas?
That's a good question, Craig. What you think? You think he's out?
He was a coach before. I'm good. I don't want to see no more Dan Quinn.
No. Do you think he gets a job though, Craig?
I'm not saying with
Do you think a team hires him as a head coach?
As a coach? Wasn't he a coach before?
No. I'm saying, do you think he's gonna get a job? You don't think he's gonna get a job?
No.
Not a head coach.
All right. Okay. All right.
No. Why would you want to know? I've seen. I think other teams have seen enough of this guy. Why would you want to? Man, come on.
I don't want.
I get what you're saying, Craig. I'm saying we see this.
There's only 6 or 7 positions out there, and there's like 14 coaches or something like that.
But we see
Colin Cowherd said that. He said that this is a crazy year. This is a crazy year. He said this is actually a good year to hire a head coach because there's so many quality candidates that watch the Panthers hire somebody like Bobby Slowick or Ben Johnson. Watch, y'all gonna hire a good hire. I'm telling you because there's so many good quality candidates out there. I think there's a lot of good quality candidates out there.
Hey, one thing
like the Dolphins coordinator might get a head coaching job. Raheem Morris might. Mike McDaniel might. You talking about Ben Johnson. You talking about Harbaugh's going to get probably offered a job. You know what I'm saying? So this is going to be interesting. Vrabel. He's going to get somebody's going to give Vrabel a shot. And if Belichick and New England part ways, teams already said they're going to hire Belichick.
Well, I mean, okay, Belichick, Ben Johnson, and Harbaugh. That's 3 out of 7 right there.
3. You're right. 3 that's gone. 3 off the break.
So I know it sounds weird to y'all, yo.
I mean, Belichick exactly wants the coach again.
I would love.
I think so. I
would love an offensive guy and one name to stay out there that I would love us to go get as a D coordinator: Wink Martindale or Leslie Frazier. The reason I say Wink Martindale is because we struggled forcing turnovers last year.
And that's
what he does.
He's a good D coordinator. He's a good D.
The Giants were 27th in the league in defense, but they led the league in takeaways. They had 31 takeaways.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. He's another one. He's gonna get a job quick. But I'm hearing somebody's gonna hire him a D coordinator.
I'm hearing Leslie Frazier might go to the Giants. I heard he because remember he was working with Dayball in Buffalo.
Oh, okay. That would be a good hire for Giants because I heard Dayball's hard to work with. That's what I heard.
Yeah, they said him and Wink were beefing. He said he got to the season. But they said when the moment Wink said I'm resigning, they said Dayball went and fired the two dudes that was with him that came from Baltimore with him.
Yep.
He said they was beefing. They said it was a lot of friction during the
I
season.
could see Leslie Frazier there. I forgot that he used to be in Buffalo. I could see that.
But they was there. They were both the coordinators,
and they have a relationship, so they know how. And Leslie Frazier is a good D coordinator.
Yeah, Leslie Frazier took a year off, just for a break or whatever. But they say he want to coach again, so he might come back.
Definitely see. I could see. I didn't know. I forgot about that, Mo. I guess I could see that. Leslie Frazier and the Giants. I think Leslie Frazier's a good. I wish he gets another opportunity.
Did y'all see the little screenshot I sent when a Buffalo fan on Facebook was talking about? Because Saquon already said. Saquon basically did this subliminal, like I'm not trying to get what's his name again? Like,
can they do that? Can you franchise a player 2 years?
You can't do 3 straight years. I think
that's all up to him, though, unless they trade him, right?
Yeah,
and then you get an automatic first round, I think, right?
But they gotta go. But if I'm Saquon, I ask for a trade because they about to draft a quarterback. They not rocking with no DeVito and Daniel Jones or Tyrod Taylor going into next season. They're gonna draft him.
I don't know what they're gonna do because a lot of drafts have them drafting a tackle. I don't see a lot of mock drafts of them drafting a quarterback.
Hey, wait,
I think they're going.
What do y'all see Kirk Cousins at next year?
Ooh.
Denver, Minnesota.
I don't see him Minnesota next year. I see him Denver. I see him Denver or
Minnesota. Minnesota said that they were gonna. They were talking about it.
Pittsburgh. You know what that is though. I'm not saying Kirk Cousins ain't good, but you know what that is though. They want to keep Justin Jefferson happy. He gonna have some say in the quarterback.
I'd ask about Atlanta. Another dome.
Yeah, he said he liked her.
Another easy division.
But I think that's also going to depend on who the coach is, like as far as getting a veteran, or are they going to go veteran or they going to draft? So if they hire a younger coach, unless they force his hand, he might want to draft his own guy. If it's a veteran coach, he might be like, bump that. I want to get a vet and win right now.
Right.
So they said I'm looking at when they said Jaden McDaniels to the Giants, but this also has us trading up to get Caleb. And then the Bears trading down with us getting Marvin Harrison. Yeah,
I can see that. Yo. That's not far fetched. Like that's not. I mean, I know to some people that might seem wow, but that's not far fetched, yo. But if everybody stay pat, I heard he can go to Arizona at 4. Like the lowest Marvin Harrison would fall would be Arizona.
Yeah, he's gonna go. Yeah, he's gonna go. So because. To be honest, I think that we're going to probably get Drake May, who is in a lot of people's – I mean, look, I'm going to wait till I actually do my draft analysis. That doesn't start until February, where I'll start looking at grades and start listening to certain podcasts where like Bucky Brooks and Daniel Jeremiah break down all the top prospects. Yeah, who's gonna stay? Joe Klatt does it as well, where they break down each. So they'll do their mock draft and they'll break down why they're a good fit for that and all that.
So we got
you know what I'm saying? I want to wait, but I'm hearing good things, but I don't know. So a lot of mock drafts got the Giants drafting a tackle, man. But it's going to be a lot of teams in the quarterback class, though, because this is going to be, very, very interesting draft, man. So once again, I can't wait. All right, Craig, what surprised you about Week 18, the last week of the NFL season? Like any wins, like not wins, but any like particular losses?
Yeah, I guess the Titans, I guess. The Jaguars. I mean, maybe the Eagles losing to the Giants. I mean, really, doesn't. I mean, other than those two, I don't really see any big surprises.
Any big surprises?
I did pick the Panthers to win. I think I picked the.
That was close.
Well, I picked the. I think I picked the Cardinals to win. Cardinals to win, even though the Seahawks needed that game. The Dolphins I picked to win, but I mean that was kind of a pick'em game for the most part. Plus the Dolphins didn't have some of their players, so I would probably say the Eagles losing the way that they did lose in a game that they. I mean, at the end of the day, It didn't matter if they won or lost because they're still going to be a 5. But just the optics of it and how they finished the season, and then same thing with the Jaguars. The optics of that, they actually needed that game to make the playoffs. They win, they're in, and Pittsburgh is out. But both teams have finished terribly. So it'll probably be those two games, even though they're obviously last game of the season is always a divisional game. So you know those games are going to be a little bit tougher, especially when teams like Tennessee and the Giants are trying to beat the division opponent. And in this case, the Titans case, it knocked the Jaguars out of the playoffs, so they played scoreless. So those would probably be my two.
All right. Mo, any surprises from week 18?
The Jacksonville one surprised me. I thought Jacksonville was going to win. But just the way that Tennessee brought it to them, like Tennessee physically dominated them. You would think that you would come out more. I mean, it's like they was sleepwalking, and then they woke up, and it's kind of like they kind of realized, oh, we can miss out altogether, and then they try to come back. But then by that moment, Tennessee was already gassed up, and you could tell Tennessee wanted to play hard for Vrabel. They players know what they're writing on the wall, and then they knew this is probably Tannehill's last game, Derrick Henry's last game. They even had Derrick Henry speak on the field at the end of the game and tell Tennessee, "Thank you for everything." So the writing was on the wall for everybody's goodbyes. It was just real emotional. So I thought Jackson would have came out more physical. New Orleans. Dennis Allen should be fired. You have no control over your team. I'm sorry. Listen. So
I agree with that. I do.
For your backup quarterback to come in the game because you're up big, and you call victory formation. He called victory formation. They lined up in victory formation, but in the huddle, they changed their mind and tell him like, "Oh, Jamal Williams, because he hasn't scored a touchdown all season, we want to give him a touchdown." It ain't about incentives, dude. They just wanted to get dude a touchdown. Come on, young. Like, if he didn't get a touchdown this season, he didn't get a touchdown this season. It ain't like he just led the league last year in touchdowns. So why are we pacifying this dude? So you sat there, faked the joint, and gave the dude a touchdown, and like faked the victory formation. That's why Atlanta didn't come off the ball. So you just turned around and just handed it all to him. Touchdown. Yeah. And then the fact that he went on the media and said that Dennis Allen called victory formation, you said bump that, and the players went in with you. So it ain't like Jameis has made that decision on his own. They said the players will win him on it. Like the O-line, everybody was like, cool, bet it. We're going to fake this joint. So for that many people to say, cool, forget the coach call, we're going to do it, he don't have no control of the locker room with me. It ain't about the bond you have this running back. That's about you don't have no type of respect for this coach. So I just think that speaks on volumes on Dennis Allen's control on the team. But, they're going to mask it. If Dennis Allen is still there, Jameis can't be there next year. Or I'm just going to look at New Orleans as a just we don't care type of franchise, because that's just crazy. That was just wild. That was very wild. That was very wild.
Yeah. So
the Eagles. The Eagles. I know the Eagles been looking bad, but for the Giants to just like come out there and physically take it to them, I just don't. So I lean more on, and we've seen this before. So I lean more on, and we'll get in this in a minute. So I'll say this out loud. I lean more on they're gonna come out there and smack the brakes off Tampa Bay and let their frustration out. I think they've been struggling, but I can see a situation where it's like all this negative talk against them, almost like a Michigan thing now. Us against the world, everybody like we out of it already. Everybody taking they're gonna be out of it. Some people even saying Tampa Bay might be the first round. No, sir. No dice.
No, we'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
I don't know that.
We'll get to that later. I wouldn't bet your house on it. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I wouldn't put no money on it, but
I'll put nobody on
Philly
that.
right now. Yeah, I ain't putting money on Philly.
Surprising thing for week 18, nothing really stood out. Packers played well. I figured that. I'm a Jordan, I like Jordan Love. Cowboys crushed the Commanders. We knew that was gonna happen. Most divisional games. I'm shocked by the Eagles, but maybe not. 27-10 is a crazy score. Kind of looked like they knew they had the 5th seed, so they were like, let's pull the starters. Jalen Hurts is hurt. So they got a chance to bounce back. And they'll be on panic or not. Cardinals played the Seahawks close. 49ers played the Rams close. We talked about the Bills game. That was close, but it wasn't surprising. So it's week 18 was relatively quiet. I think week 17 probably had more impactful games because the Steelers winning get in. That's an impactful game, but the Ravens were resting their starters, so it wasn't really like that. And TJ Watt gets hurt, which sucks. The Texans, CJ Stroud played excellent. It was a close game. But that's it. And the Jaguars, the way Trevor Lawrence has regressed it's mind-boggling. It's very, very mind-boggling. Very interesting. But I'll talk about that
let me ask y'all a question real quick. Who was y'all surprise team in the AFC and the NFC, and who's y'all like disappointing team that you're disappointed in? Or
okay.
Go ahead.
You got yours.
For me, AFC surprise would definitely be the Texans, because I think I had them only at like 5-6 wins. So I definitely would say the Texans is my surprise. My disappointment, AFC, would be Jacksonville, because I had them win the division. So I had to say Jacksonville. I had them win the division. So NFC,
they're on a lot of people's list. They're on a lot of people's list, brother.
NFC surprising. I would say, like, surprise me in a good way. I'm trying to think. That's tough. NFC. Yeah, it's tough on that. The NFC is how I come for me to say my surprise, because I wasn't really surprised. I mean, looking at the NFC, nothing really like. I would say Green Bay. I didn't think Green Bay was going to make the playoffs. I don't even think I had Green Bay making playoffs. But my disappointment has to be us. It has to be Commanders, because I had us making playoffs. When we first said something, I had us making the playoffs. So that has to be my disappointment, because not only us not making the playoffs, but I didn't see us as just a 4-win team. Like, we started on 2-0, and then like this at the start on 2-0. It was just like, I didn't see this.
You gotta listen to me, bro. I know a little bit about football.
It just wasn't this. So yeah, those my surprise and disappointments.
All right. My surprise. I'll go AFC. The surprise team in the AFC. I'm gonna go Browns, man.
I knew you were going to go there.
I'm gonna go Browns, man, because it's been so many years. Listen, Kevin Stefanski's a good coach.
Yeah.
He is. Bottom line, there's no ifs, ands, but about it. They said he might get another Coach of the Year award. You got Joe Flacco. They're considered a dangerous team. We'll get to them later. Who you got or who's going to win between the Texans and the Browns? But this is 11-6. One of the best defenses I mean, they're a tough team. They surprised me because most times I'm like, oh, that's just Cleveland. But under Ken Stefanski, this is the second time they went to the playoffs. Second time with Joe Flacco, a quarterback. A disappointing team was, you already said the Jaguars. Jaguars was tough. But you know what team I'm going to go? They're really disappointing me. The Chargers, man. I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs. They were bad. They were a bad team, man. And I'm going to get into the later, but who is Justin Herbert? Who is he? And maybe Trevor Lawrence is falling in that category where they're just average quarterbacks. We're going to see. We're going to see, man, because those are two quarterback or players that have been disappointing for the AFC. For the NFC, my surprise team, the Rams. Coaching matters, man. Coaching matters. Sean McVay is an excellent coach. Mike Tomlin is an excellent coach. Those coaches, Shanahan, excellent coach. Those coaches, the really good coaches, Matt LaFleur, I think Matt LaFleur is a good head coach. Those coaches, Mike McDaniel, those young, fiery coaches are great. They're great for the game of football. And having the Rams play 10-7, and listen, we'll be careful. Detroit better be careful, man. I don't know, man. This Rams team, Baltimore crushed every team except for them. They lost by 3 in overtime. So be mindful. Just a thought. Just a thought. And a disappointing team in the NFC is the Seattle Seahawks, man. Just because of their record last year, Geno's second year, great comeback story, and they're 9-8 and out the playoffs. They're disappointing because last year it was like, okay, you got to the playoffs, you have a young defense, Pete Carroll's a good head coach. Well, now they think now they're in the quarterback market again. They're in the quarterback market again. So that's a disappointing. All right, so Craig, what about you?
The AFC, I agree with Mo. I think my the team I'm disappointed in is the Jaguars. They were 8-3, and it looked like I had them finishing with like at least 11 wins, and they were 8-3, and everything was looking good. And then they lost 5 of their last 6 games. All they needed to do was win 2 games. They'd have been in the playoffs. All you needed was 10 wins. They'd have been in.
That's it.
I mean, granted, they did play some really tough teams there. The Bengals, even though they didn't have Herbert, and the Browns, the Ravens, the Bucks. Like the Browns, Ravens, Bucks, all playoff teams. But there's no reason why you
win 2 of them.
The Bengals or the Titans. You already beat the Panthers. Okay, so you need to beat the Bengals or the Titans, and they couldn't beat one of those teams. Like, that's really disappointing. And how the team looked in the beginning of the season to how they finished is just, it's insane to me. And I'm very disappointed because I had them easily winning that division. I thought it was going to be a runaway. I thought they had a chance to fight for at least a 2 or 3 seed. They're going to get so many division wins.
Easy schedule. And their schedule was easy.
And then rack up on the NFC South wins. I thought they were going to rack up on those too. So, I mean, they played the NFC South and they played their own division. So, 2 on paper, and probably still are, definitely, 2 of the worst divisions in football. And
they are.
The division AFC South surprised me with Houston and Indianapolis. So, I mean, I got to go Jacksonville. My team that I guess I was surprised about in the AFC probably be the Texans as well, just because I didn't only have them like 4 wins coming into this season, but another team that I guess really surprised me is the Steelers. How I mean I know Tomlin doesn't have a losing record, but you have Mason Rudolph and you have Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky as your quarterbacks. I don't know how you get 10 wins. I mean, I get the defense was pretty good, but then the defense started off kind of bad. Like they weren't really that dominant Pittsburgh Steelers defense. They were giving up a lot of points, but they ended up somehow 10-7. I get it. The last game of the season didn't matter for Baltimore as much as it did for Pittsburgh, but I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due, man. I didn't see them getting 10 wins, so it would definitely be Houston, but Pittsburgh is like probably my number 2. In the NFC team, I'm I guess most surprised about probably be the Bucks. I thought I even though it was an easy division, I thought the Bucks were going to be last in that division. I didn't see where I didn't like Baker coming out of it. He had a I guess a quiet 28-10 or a surprise 10. I mean, I didn't think he had 28-10 in him, but he had 28-10. And
quiet 28-10.
That season, yeah, he had 4,000 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
he might have gained a little. They might sign him 2 or 3 years.
I was about to say Baker might have saved his career with this one.
Might have.
The Browns. Then he went to Carolina. Then he went to the Rams. Now he might have found that new spot, his home, a place he can call home for the next couple of years in Tampa. Mm-hmm. As long as
it's not in a crazy division.
As long as they can
say it's low key,
re-sign Mike Evans, which is going to be a priority this offseason. I think they'll probably
they could do that,
doing it again as long as he can stay healthy and as long as he has this type of season in him. But I didn't think Tampa Bay was going to. I thought the Panthers were working in them. So
Todd Bowles saved his job for real.
Yeah,
they're probably gonna bring everybody back. They're gonna bring everybody back. They're gonna sign Baker. So that's you're right, Craig. Baker made another contract.
I definitely got Tampa Bay there. The team I'm very disappointed in is a team that's actually going to the playoffs, and that's the Eagles.
Go ahead.
The Eagles. I mean, I don't understand what's going on. Like, I mean, they finished the same way as the Jaguars did, except the Jaguars are not going to the playoffs, and that's losing 5 of your last 6 games. Like, I kind of understand. Okay, you lose the last game of the season to Tyrod Taylor. Okay, maybe. I thought they probably should have, even if they didn't have nothing to play for, maybe they should have just came out early and then got ahead and then probably rested their starters or whatever it is. At least, even if you lost that game, it just looked better because your team was up 21-3 at halftime versus being down. Like, if you were up 21-3, okay, second half you want to rest your starters and you end up losing the game, cool. That's fine. You can just say, you know what, they didn't. The Commanders were getting beat by Cowboys. Eagles pulled their starters because they knew the Cowboys were going to win the division, and the offense looked really good and the defense looked really good. So I think a lot of people's perception would be a lot more positive about the Eagles going into the playoffs. This is even after losing at home, blowing the big lead to the Cardinals, where the Cardinals scored 29 of their 35 in the second half. Losing to the Seahawks, getting blown out by the Cowboys, blown out by the 49ers. I mean, kind of those 2 games are kind of, give them a little bit of a pass because they're really good teams, but some of those other 3 losses that they had is unacceptable, and they barely beat the Giants the first time they played them. So, I mean, this team is just a huge disappointment to me, even though they're going to the playoffs. I said I wanted the Saints to go to the playoffs. I thought they would be a better matchup or a harder out, which, I mean, it's a dome, so possibly, and I think their defense is better than the Bucks, but I can't sleep on that Bucks team, and especially how this Eagles team is playing. So those are my surprises and disappointments.
Man. So, Craig, I'm gonna do my panic or not, then we're gonna do your top 5. So right now, panic or nah. And I'm including 2 teams that we just talked about. The Jaguars need to panic because right now you were 8-3, and then you lost and now you're 9-8. Could have won a division, but you didn't. Is Trevor Lawrence and Justin Herbert the same exact quarterback? Maybe fringe Phillip Rivers that is good. Wins one playoff game, maybe two. It's just a good quarterback for 12 years. Panic time for the Chargers. Same thing. Did those two quarterbacks get drafted? Was it the coaching? Because Trevor Lawrence has no excuse with Doug Peterson. He's offensive-minded Super Bowl winning head coach, or did the Eagles get it right? We're going to find out next year. Because his seat might start to get a little warm. You got one playoff win, and then you're 9-8. Trevor Lawrence is about to sign a deal. They're going to have to pay him. They're going to have to. So, it's just it's interesting, And then panic time for the Chargers. You don't have a head coach, and your cap space is horrible. And is Herbert progressing? Did the hiring of Brandon Staley regress your team? That's panic time, guys. That's panic time. Somebody else is on a panic time. You know what? I'm not going to include teams that are in a good position. Like Atlanta. They fired their coach. They have a top 10 pick. They're probably going to draft a quarterback. Commanders, Panthers. We all know they don't have any leadership in the building. So their panic time is over. They've already started the rebuilding process. So they're not – they can't be included in panic time because they've already started the process because they fired it. They fired everybody. So that's another interesting panic time for the Broncos. Because Sean Payton, are you sure that you could develop a quarterback for the future? Because if you can't, in 3 years from now, Sean Payton will be fired, and his legacy will be very interesting at this point. Because you know what? I'm going out on a limb and saying Mike McCarthy is a better coach than Sean Payton. Because Mike McCarthy never went 7-9 with a Hall of Fame quarterback. He doesn't even have a Hall of Fame quarterback. And you see what he's doing in Dallas. This might be Dak Prescott's best year. So I don't believe none of that he going to fire Mike McCarthy. What? No, but let's see. Is Sean Payton really the guy? We're going to see at this point in time because Denver has no quarterback. And it seems like he lost the team. Because I feel like those last two games that Russell played, I think they might have won both of them or at least one of them. Well, I think they won against San Diego. So they would have won two of them. But, Sean Payton, he doesn't fit you. Let's see how good of a coach you are. Let's see. Because the NFL and NBA are sports in general is where your resume is updated every year, every game. And people lose their jobs for it. Panic time for Seattle. What is going on? Disappointment. Y'all supposed to make the playoffs this year. Y'all supposed to challenge Detroit. Y'all supposed to be where Detroit is right now. Y'all supposed to go 9-8. Now what y'all going to do for the quarterback position? Because you have to draft a quarterback because Geno's not it. Tyler Lockett's getting old. You drafted all these young pieces on offense. Get him a quarterback to throw the ball. So that is my panic or not segment. So some NFL teams got stuff to figure out, guys. Some teams got stuff to figure out. All right, Craig, what is your top 5 for this week?
This week I got my top 5 teams. My top 5, I guess, Super Bowl contenders that have made the playoffs. Been going back and forth with the last 3 on my list. I wanted to include one team, but I couldn't. but I wouldn't be surprised if they had a deep playoff run. But that number 6 team is the Browns, so I really wanted to put them in, but I couldn't put them in, mostly because they're a wild card team. So they got to play some, and they're the 5th seed, so they got to play some road games. But number 5, I got the Lions. I think this could be the year of that the Lions make some noise, I guess. The OC is really good. Jared Goff has been there before. They have 2 really good running backs. Amase Brown is really good. Sam Laporta is really good. So they have 2 good pass catchers. Williams can stretch the field. He just doesn't get enough targets, or he just doesn't catch the ball enough. But he can stretch the field. He can be that guy that can be a deep threat. The defense is okay. It's better this year than it has been over the last couple of years. I'll tell you that. At one point they were like a top 5, top 10 defense, probably top 10. Now they're kind of middle of the pack, but it's that offense. I think if they can get past this first round is going to be tough playing the Rams. But I think I actually got them in the NFC Championship game. So I think I picked them before the season started, NFC Championship game. So I'm sticking with it. But I think that the offense is going to be definitely the key to carry this team. And if Hutchinson can get pressure on the quarterback, especially coming up this week with Matt Stafford with the, I guess, Matt Stafford Bowl, or wherever you want to, revenge game, or I don't know what you want to call it. Same thing with the Jared Goff thing. So,
yeah, that's right. They both play for each other. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they have that
sprinkle some extra motivation on there, huh? Well,
extra little storyline they got going on. But I got the Lions at number 5. Okay. Number 4, it's going to probably piss people off, but I got the Bills. I'm not a big fan of the Bills, but I think with them getting the 2 seed, it's better.
Sky's the limit. This is the year.
It's definitely better to go to Buffalo or be at home playing these games at Buffalo than going to Kansas City or Miami again or wherever you want to go. So, Allen, I know he's been turning the ball over. He had some crazy turnovers in that game against Miami. And the offense hasn't looked good. Offense hasn't looked good really since Dorsey left, or Dorsey got fired for the most part. I saw a couple things. I don't know if Gabe Davis is going to be able to play. I think he got hurt in that game against Miami. So, but I just think that being at home, it's tough to go into Buffalo, especially now with the weather getting the way it is, and wind. I don't think it's going to be like 40 degrees like it was a few weeks ago when they played, I think, Dallas or something like that. Yeah, when they played Dallas. But I think they're running it. They're starting to go a little bit more to the running game and transition to that. And they have a running back, Cook, who can run the ball. So Diggs has to get going. I don't know what's going on with that. And the only thing that kind of, I guess, I have a hesitation about is Josh Allen's going to be trying to play hero ball like he's been playing all season. He's been taking it upon himself, man, out there. And a lot of times he doesn't have to be. I know he accounts for a lot of touchdowns for that offense, but he just doesn't have to do it all by himself. In the postseason, though, he has 17 touchdowns and 4 picks. So in the postseason, he's really good. He just hasn't gotten his team to that next level. So, but being the number 2 seed, I think this is an opportunity. Cowboys are my number 3 team. I think the Cowboys have – this is probably – I ain't going to say the best chance because in 2016, they had the number 1 overall seed, or in the NFC at least. So they had home field in 2016. A few years ago, they were the 2 seed. And they lost. So I mean, the Cowboys are probably going to end up being what the Cowboys do, but I think they have a good chance. Dak has had an MVP type of season. They lucked up somehow and ended up being the number 2 seed. So I think this is a perfect opportunity for them to make it to the NFC Championship game, and you avoid the 49ers until you get to that game. They could be playing the Lions in the second round. They just played them a few weeks ago. Tough game. Ended up winning that game on a controversial call, but nonetheless, they still won that game. And the Cowboys are the only undefeated team at home in the regular season, 8-0. And like I said, Dak is playing like an MVP. I think their defense is really good. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb is playing amazing. I just think they need to figure out how to run the ball a little bit better. So I think if they can figure that out, I think they'll make it to the NFC Championship game. Number 2, I got 49ers. 49ers are the best team in the NFC, and I think that they have a clear path to get to the Super Bowl. They're going to be at home. I don't think any team in the NFC can beat them on their home field. So Dallas is probably the best team, and that's why I put them at number 3 to challenge them. But I'm not sure if Dallas. I mean, I don't think they're going to get beat like they did early in the season. Was that 42-10? But I think it's going to be a little bit closer. I think the defense kind of steps up a little bit for both teams. But 49ers, man, the 49ers is a complete team. As long as Brock Purdy doesn't turn the ball over like he did in that Baltimore game, I think they'll be fine. If Christian McCaffrey comes back and he's healthy, which is this will be 2 weeks off, 3 weeks, 2 weeks off. So pretty much 2.5 weeks with practice and all that stuff coming back. So he should be healthy. Trent Williams, everybody should be healthy, I hope. So we'll see what happens. But I got the 49ers my number 2. And my number 1, obviously, is the Ravens. The Ravens have looked like a team. I mean, if you really think about it, they had some games in there that they shouldn't have lost. Like the Pittsburgh game, they shouldn't have lost that game. There was another game early in the season, I think, against the Colts. They could have won that game too. The Browns game, they pretty much every game they were in, they lost by 3, 7, 2, and then the last game didn't count, but they lost by 3, 7, and 2. So that's only 12 in 3 games. So they could have easily won all those games. They could have been talking about an undefeated season for them going into the playoffs, but Lamar's MVP this year. There's no doubt about it. I like the sign of the Dalvin Cook. That just adds an extra running, an element to that running game. It's unfortunate that Andrews is not there. Likely he's okay. He's a replacement. The defense is really good. Statistically, the Browns have the best defense in NFL, but I think the Ravens, when they play like they did against San Francisco or the Dolphins, I mean, it's hard to not say that the Ravens don't have the best defense in the NFL. So I think like that, which I think they'll play like that in the playoffs. I think they're going to go to the Super Bowl this year, or have an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl this year.
Wow. Very interesting. All right, man. And you know what? The Buffalo pick, you're kind of spot on with that because when Josh Allen plays because listen, that Miami game, they barely made it out.
If they had that punt return, I don't know if they would.
I don't know if they would have. I don't know if they would have beat them. It scares me. They scare me so much, Craig. But you kind of have to put them up there. They scare.
Only reason why I really put them up there,
yes.
2 seed.
They got the number 2 seed.
That's one of the reasons why I put them up there.
And they finished out the season strong.
They had 5 in a row.
They finished out strong. Teams. We know this, and we're about to get to this with who you got. But teams that finish strong on a winning streak in the playoffs be very dangerous to watch out for them. They're very dangerous when they start clicking. Those are the teams that be upsetting people are going far. But anyway, guys, now we're doing who you got. Let's go. Boom. Now, we're doing all the games. We're going to do the AFC first, then the NFC. There's no crazy upset pick because we're talking about all the games, guys. You know, went from, I don't know how many games a week to 6. So this weekend is going to be nice, and it's going to be peppered with playoff games all throughout of the weekend, and I can't wait. It starts Saturday. We got a 4:30, then at 8 p.m. Sunday, we got 1, 4, Sunday night at 8 p.m., Monday night at 8 p.m. This is great football. I love this time of year. Mo, Browns versus Texans. Who you got?
Coaching. Boy. Okay. I know we stopped doing the push. It's tough one. But, you know what? I'm gonna go D'Amico Ryans. First year coach, first year quarterback.
Okay.
You know, him having the guts and the organization have the guts to then move up to number 2 and then get Will Anderson. There's honestly I get Stroud probably is gonna get, because we know it's a quarterback driven league. Stroud probably gonna get offensive rookie year, but the dude, the wide receiver from the Rams make it a hard case. When you break the record, you break the rookie record for catches and yards. But I think Stroud might get it, but I think Anderson might get defensive rookie of the year. So that's just, they've done a heck of a job this year. 10 wins. I didn't see it coming. They had 4 more wins than what I expected. Offensively, it all comes down to quarterback play for me. I'm going Browns. I just think Flacco, when it comes clutch, I'm gonna go with Flacco and Cooper. I'm gonna go with Flacco. I'm gonna go with Coop, and I think the difference maker is going to be Texas are wanting to find a way to stop Njoku, that tight end from Miami. It came out of Miami. He was a first-round draft pick. We was waiting for him to show up, and this year, I think Flacco has a great relationship with him.
Showed up.
Yeah, like Flacco has a great relationship with him. Defensively, I'm gonna go to Browns. They're the number one. They're the number one. They're in the top 2 or 3 in defense in every category. This game, I think, is going to come down to, I think the Browns have more players with playoff experience, and I think Joe Flacco is going to make the difference. I'm going to go Browns 27-20.
All right, Browns 27-20. All right, Craig, Browns versus Texans. Who you got?
I'm gonna just start with the defense first, because this is the easiest one to pick. So I'm taking the Browns defense. The Browns have, like most said, they have the best overall defense in terms of yardage, at least. But I think their defense is amazingly good. And defense at this time in the playoffs, this is what you want to have. You want to have a really good defense, or a defense at least playing well or projecting that way. And the Browns have been pretty much playing great defense all season long. So I got the Browns on defense. Coaching, I agree with Mo. Like this is tough, because both coaches have done a phenomenal job. I think both coaches are going to be in the top 2 or top 3 in Coach of the Year, just because of what Cleveland dealt with at the quarterback position, and then on the other side with Ryan's having a rookie quarterback and being a rookie head coach. So, excuse me. But I'm leaning slightly, just because he's a rookie head coach and he's got a rookie quarterback and a bunch of, I guess, no-name, non-household name guys at the wide receiver position, the running back position, all over the place pretty much. And that's I'm going with Ryans for the coach. I think it's really close. I wouldn't be mad if Stefanski won Coach of the Year. I wouldn't be mad if Ryans won it. I wouldn't be mad if Tomlin won it. Like, it's so many really good, deserving coaches. But for this game, I think I'm going with D'Amico Ryans slightly. For the defense, for the coach,
offense.
Offense. Oh man, that's tough, because both quarterbacks are playing phenomenal. I'm going slightly with the Falcon. I'm going slightly with the Browns. I just think the way Flacco leads the league since he's come in, or at least the games that he's played. He leads the league in passing yards. Leads the league in touchdowns as well. So I just think that the way he's coming, even though he's throwing turnovers a lot and things like that, but I mean, he's slinging the ball all around. And then the last game he played against the Jets are a really good defense, and he did put up over 300 yards without Amari Cooper. Excuse me. So I mean, he's not playing like the Joe Flacco a couple years ago, I guess. But like, he's just letting them throw the ball. So I'm going with the Browns for the offense slightly, because I think Stroud is playing phenomenal on that side of the ball. This is going to be I think this could be a really good game. I look at what the Browns have done this whole season. I mean, they've had 4 other quarterbacks not named Joe Flacco start a game, and they have a total of 11 touchdowns with those 4 quarterbacks, probably in about 5. So I'm gonna say 12 games they've had starters, and they've only have 11 touchdowns. Flacco already has 13 in 5 games. He has more yardage than passing yardage than anybody on his team. Yards per pass, yards per game, all that. His QBR, passer rating, everything is higher than anybody than Deshaun Watson, who they're paying extra all this money. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, a rookie, PJ Walker, who's a journeyman, Jeff Driscoll, another journeyman. So Stroud, on the other hand, he's playing better than I expected him to play. Got the team to the playoffs, had a big road win last game of the season in Indianapolis. But at the end of the day, I'm going with the team that has the better defense. And even though it's a home game for Houston, it's still a rookie quarterback against a veteran like Joe Flacco. I think Joe Flacco is going to be able to make enough plays and get this win. I think they played each other earlier in the season, and the Texans lost at home. Not saying this is anything indicative of that, but I'm going with the Texans. I'm going with the Browns, 24-21.
All right. Yes, they did. The Texans did lose to them. But CJ Stroud did not play, and they lost 36-22.
Okay.
So I think this is going to be a different game with a different outcome. So the head coach, the head coach, I'm not going to lie, man. Ken Stefanski, I mean, we talked about him earlier. Like, he's a diamond in the rough. He's a good coach, man. And hopefully they can get that quarterback situation. Deshaun Watson didn't impress me this year. So there is no excuse for this team next year. Now we're going to see how they deal with expectations. Because next year, you get Deshaun Watson back, people are going to have them in the playoffs. So, we'll get there when it comes. D'Amico Ryans, I like D'Amico. I think that he's kind of saved the defensive coach mantra. I think if you go defense, you go young. And the thing about defensive coaches, if they have a good quarterback, they're phenomenal because they don't have to worry about that side of the ball. Like Belichick. If Belichick goes to the Chargers, they're going to be good because you don't have to worry about that side of the ball. He hires Josh McDaniels to deal with Herbert, probably, or Bill O'Brien to deal with Herbert, and he coaches the defense. That's just a thing. I think D'Amico Ryans, the way that he was as a player, how intelligent he was, and then to be under Shanahan to learn how to operate and be a head coach is phenomenal. And going back to Houston and doing this, man, with CJ Stroud, I gotta give it to D'Amico, man. Offense, man, I'm going Texans offense. I'm going with the best quarterback on the field. I'm going with CJ Stroud, who I knew was going to be a good quarterback. Craig did too. Everybody was like, Craig did too. We agreed on this. But everybody was like, oh, he's from Ohio State. I just kept, the more research that I did on him, I was like, well, wait a minute now. He can make all the NFL throws at each level, and his footwork is clean. And that's what and he's athletic. He can run if he needs to. And just what he did on the road, no pressure. He delivers a 75-yard bomb to Nico Collins. Like, yeah, I'm here. So I got CJ Stroud and the Texans for the offense. And I like Joe Flacco. I like their offense, but he be committing a lot of turnovers. Defense, this is easy. Browns. This has been the best defense in the league. Historical numbers. Their defense is nice. But I'm going to go with the Texans, who I think the Texans are going to win. I think this is not an upset. I think because CJ Stroud alone brings them over enough to win it. Plus, everybody's picking the Browns, man. And sometimes you gotta mix it up. I really think that D'Amico Ryan and the Texans are gonna have something up their sleeve with Joe Flacco. And I think that CJ Stroud is going to emerge as a winner. And he's going to be somebody we talk about for a while. I don't think the Texans are. I think they're going to be good for a while with D'Amico Ryans and CJ Stroud. I think they're going to be competing for the division every year at this point because they're both too great. You got a great head coach that's knowledgeable of football and dedicated to the game of football. You got a quarterback who's the same, and then you got young players, draft capital. You know, their first two picks. I know it's number 2 and 3. One is going to be the offensive rookie of the year, and Will Anderson has a good chance to be defensive rookie of the year. So, just watch out for the Texans. I got the final score being 28-24. Texans win. Let's go. Craig. Dolphins versus the Chiefs. Who you got? And it's going to be cold.
I don't care about that. Coaching.
Golly.
Coaching. Yeah, it's hard to pick a coach. But I am going to pick one because I don't want to do a push. You got Andy Reid, who's definitely a really great coach. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he's won Super Bowls and all that. And on the other side, you got McDaniel, who I think he's a really good coach, but his team hasn't really beaten anybody outside the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, where do you go? Because you got the Chiefs who always drop passes. They have Mahomes, and that's tough. Give me you know what? Just give me Andy Reid. Give me Andy Reid just because they won the division. Yeah. It's tough, man. It's tough to pick one because both of these guys play good. Yeah. I think the job that McDaniel has done might be slightly better, but he hasn't really proved it in terms of the team winning games. I thought they could have proved if they had won the game against the Bills last game of the season. I thought they probably could have. They could have won the division, which would have snapped the Bills' 4-year winning streak, and it would have, I think, taken a lot of the pressure and a lot of that. When he win big games off the game, he didn't win them. So here they are. So I'm going with Andy Reid. Offense, I got to go with the Dolphins, even though the Dolphins don't have or might not have Mostert or Waddle. I was trying to see if they were going to play or if they were practice or anything like that.
I think Waddle. Let me look.
I don't know if they.
But I thought Waddle was.
But even still, I just because of the Chiefs had the better quarterback, and they beaten by the same score that the Bills beat the Dolphins last week of the season, 21-14 in Germany, I believe, or London or somewhere. So it's not like and at least in that game that the Chiefs offense got get anything going, but I can't really pick the Chiefs. Not the Chiefs. It's not like the Dolphins offense got going, but I can't pick the Chiefs offense. It's just too many drops. Pacheco had a really good season. Kelsey, I don't know what happened to him. It's like I think he needs to go ahead and break up with Taylor Swift. I don't think it's working.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, his numbers have kind of dropped off since that whole Taylor Swift thing. I don't know what's going on. Patrick Mahomes, I think it's a curse. I think it's Taylor Swift curse. Patrick Mahomes hasn't played well. It's not really all his fault. He can't catch the ball too, so they had to figure something out. Maybe they figured something out with this week of practice. I have no clue, but I'm going with the Dolphins offense, even without Waddle, even without Mostert. That's like the offense. Defense, I'm going with the Chiefs. I think the Dolphins defense has gotten a lot better throughout the season. They were able to hold that that Bills team to only 2 touchdowns. It also turned the ball or got 3 turnovers. They put in pressure all over Josh Allen in that game. But I think the Chiefs defense is pretty much the strong point of that team, and the reason why they're in the position that they are, being 11-6 and winning the division. even though they should have probably won a couple more games. It's because of that defense. I mean, the defense kind of bailed them out a couple times because the offense just hasn't clicked at all. This from the first game of the season with the whole Kadarius Toney has the ball in his hands. It goes through his hands, and then the Lions get a pick six. I mean, from that point on, it's just been kind of the same steamroll effect going down. You kind of want your team to get better and find something late in the season, and they haven't found it. So, I'm going with the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins. I know it's going to be a cold weather game, and they're from Miami. It's a hot team and all that, blah blah blah. But the Dolphins played well last year with Skylar Thompson up in Buffalo because they were able to force turnovers. I think Josh Allen had like 2 or 3 turnovers in that game, 2 or 3 interceptions. So, and that kept Miami in the game. I think this year with Tua, and hopefully, I'm hopeful that Mostert comes back, and I'm hopeful that Waddle comes back because they're going to need some extra weapons out there dealing with this defense and that cold weather. But I'm going with the Dolphins, man. I got the Dolphins 27-20.
Oh, wow. Talk about upsets. Okay. Who you got? Coach. I have Andy Reid. I do like Mike McDaniel, and I have enjoyed Hard Knocks. Mike McDaniel's been a treat, man. Just the way that he carries himself and the way that he is a motivator, how he looks at things. But I got to go with Andy Reid. I think that the Chiefs kind of had a bye week, so they're going to prepare for the Dolphins. Andy Reid is good at that. Anytime you give Andy Reid a bye week, he wins. But this is a different team, and they have suffered some issues this year. For offense, for coaching, I got Andy Reid. Offense is very tricky because I'm gonna go with the Chiefs because I don't know if the Dolphins. This is what I know about the Dolphins. Their offense never shows up when they play teams over 500. The offense just doesn't. And I don't know if Waddle's going to play. And then they're playing in Kansas City in the cold.
Coach is optimistic.
Yeah, for Waddle's optimistic and most. It's cold in Kansas City. And I think that's going to be a factor. And I think the Chiefs' defense is going to be a factor. Speaking of defense, I'm going with the Chiefs' defense, who's been top 5 in the league all year. That's an easy pick for me, even though the Dolphins have been getting better, and then the Dolphins have just key injuries. But everybody has injuries, but Chubb is out. That's a big injury for them. I don't know. Let me see if their corner. I think their corner out.
Oh, wow.
Talking about Howard?
Yeah, Xavier Howard. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Bradley Chubb is on IR. Van Winkle's in IR. Jalen Phillips is on IR. Jerome Baker. Like, they just got a lot of Xavier Howard's questionable. Waddle's questionable. Armstead is questionable. Tyreek's dealing with an ankle injury. Mostert is questionable. They got a lot of it's a lot of questionable marks at this time of the year. You want to be at least a little bit healthy. So that's why I got the Chiefs. I think it's just the injury bug has caught up with the Dolphins too much. If the Dolphins are fully healthy, I would pick them hands down. But I just don't think they're healthy enough to be the Chiefs team coming. And Chiefs have a home game, even though they've been exposed to home this year. I just think the playoffs is different, and I have the Chiefs winning 25-20. Mo. Dolphins versus Chiefs. Who you got?
All right. Culture wise, I know it. I'm gonna go with Mike McDaniel. I understand Andy Reid's too easy kind of sometimes to go Andy Reid, but dude has done a great job there. I know he struggled down the stretch, but I'm gonna go with him. Offensively, I'm gonna go with. I get it, but I'm gonna go Miami. Even with Waddle, I mean, let's see if Waddle's gonna play. Let's see if Moes is gonna play. But even with that, if you add Tyreek Hill, Tua, and the rookie Etienne, who's had a phenomenal rookie year, I'm gonna go with that. I think as far as explosiveness, Kansas City is just for me, it's just a drop, and I don't think just Kelsey and Mahomes alone is going to do it. Defensively, because of the injuries, I'm gonna go Kansas City. Their defense has been solid all year. If their defense didn't play up to the level they played this year, especially how the offense has been, they've been in a way worse situation than being a 3 seed. But the AFC West has been terrible. So, either way. But I'm gonna go with upset, man. In this one, I'm going Miami. I'm going a late second field goal. I'm going Miami 24-21.
All right. I'm going to do the last one in the AFC, the Steelers versus the Bills. Coaching, I got to go Tomlin. I mean, the end of the season, they lost 3 in a row and they looked like they were dead in the water. And this is how important coaching is. They are in the playoffs with Mason Rudolph. Come on, guys. He's in the playoffs with Mason Rudolph. I'm going to repeat that again. Mason Rudolph. That's how good Mike Tomlin is a coach, man. They play hard for him, and he's been doing it. He's never had a losing season. I don't think he gets the respect that he deserves. And he's a Hall of Fame head coach, and he always wins, and it's impeccable. So I'm going to give – now, even though McDermott – the Bills were going through some interesting things. I got to give it to McDermott. He made changes at the offensive coordinator position, and they've been on a winning streak. They're going into the playoffs as the number 2 seed. So that's not forgotten. McDermott has definitely done a better job. I just don't think he's done a better job than Mike Tomlin in this case. The offense, well, come on, what are we talking about here? This is an easy one. I'm going with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Even though Josh Allen is crazy and he goes Superman and he makes sometimes boneheaded mistakes, but then he'll make a pass to the offense and he catches in the end zone like that. That's the thing you get with Josh Allen. It's turbulence, but he has his team in the playoffs every year. I wouldn't mind having him. I would not be mad if the Commanders had Josh Allen. I would not. I don't think Craig would be mad if the Panthers had him either, because y'all would dominate your division if y'all had Josh Allen. And I think we would be in the playoffs. I mean, that's just what you get with him, man. He's up and down, erratic, but he wins games and he scores a lot of touchdowns. So I got to give it to and James Cook has been phenomenal this year, man. And they've been running the ball. I got to give it to the Bills. Now the Steelers have too, but I'm not picking Mason Rudolph in the playoff game in Buffalo. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. Defense, I would pick the Steelers, but that TJ Watt injury kills them. Because with TJ Watt, he could get pressure with Josh Allen and maybe get Josh Allen. And if TJ Watt was playing, Josh Allen is going to get a fumble off Josh Allen and maybe force him into a mistake. That's how good TJ Watt is. But TJ Watt's not there, so I'm going with the Bills defense. All in all, I think this is one of those playoff games where I think it's going to be dominated by one side. But it scares me about the Bills that they'll mess around and keep the Steelers in it to the last minute. And you don't want Mike Tomlin's team to be in it the last minute. You don't want them to have any hope of winning. But I think the Bills dominate the Steelers, and I think the Bills win 28-17. Mo, Steelers versus Bills, who you got?
All right, Steelers versus Bills. Coaching, I agree with you, James. I'm gonna go Mike Tomlin. Just the issues he dealt with, even go further beyond having Mason Rudolph, you had to fire your OC. Pittsburgh big on loyalty. They really don't like firing people in season, but Mike Tomlin felt like he had to do it. And then even after doing that, he got multiple receivers who were not giving effort, having to sit and have conversations with them about their effort. Sometimes the defense feels like, well, hey, when we gonna get some help? Like, we gotta do this, this way. And then you're dealing with your quarterback room. Is like, at the end of the day, you drafted Kenny Pickett first round, or was it early second?
Yeah, no, they drafted Kenny Pickett like the first round, number 20.
This is your first round quarterback, and now have to make the decision that you want to bench him, not go back to him, to still get those questions, because people still want their media questions. They know that was the right call, but people still want to say, well, how hard is it? Because that's still your first round draft pick that you chose. So I'm gonna go Mike Tomlin. No disrespect to McDermott. Defensively, I'm gonna go Pittsburgh. I think just the job they've done overall this year to keep that team intact, to win the games they won. I think they were winning games. They won at least like 3 or 4 games where it was under 20 points, where they scored under 20 and won. Like, it's just hard when you're in the NFL scoring under 20 points or under 24 points to still win games. It's tough, and they've done it. I think they did it like 3-4 times. Offensively, I'm gonna go Bills. I'm gonna go Bills. Diggs, even with Davis not playing, Diggs, Kincaid, Knox. The running game has been getting going with Cook and other backs. So I'm gonna go Buffalo. I just think if I'm gonna say, I ain't gonna say only have a chance, but I'm gonna say this. I think Pitt only has a chance in this game if Buffalo starts to turn the ball over, or if their running game just has one of those just amazing games. I think Buffalo's going to force them to score, and I'm going to go Bills 30-20. And one of them games is going to look close, but it's not as close as it looks.
All right, Craig. Steelers versus Bills. Who you got?
Coach, I'm going Tomlin. I think he's probably top 3, top 4 in terms of coach of the year this year. Steelers they have an okay team, but I just didn't think they were going to win 10 games, especially. And then at some point in time during the season, they were calling for Mike Tomlin to get fired, and he ended up still just pushing through it and handling in-house and everything like that, and he's able to get the team to 10 wins and get them to the playoffs in arguably the toughest division in football. So I got to give him credit for that. And at one point they had three games they had lost in a row, and that's when the chirping started coming out and things like that. And then they ended the season off with 3 straight wins. So I mean, you got to give him credit where credit is due. I like the job Sean McDermott has done, especially the end of the season. They won 5 games in a row, but I mean, Tomlin, man, to me, this team just came out of nowhere, and I didn't think I thought they were maybe finish above 500 or kind of flirt with it, but not go to the playoffs. Offense, even though the Steelers' offense is kind of playing a little bit better than what it was early in the season, I got to go with the Bills, and it's not because the Bills have just been playing phenomenal either. They haven't. It's just they have better offensive weapons, or they have the better quarterback, first of all. And they have the better wide receiver. The running back might be a wash or whatever you want to call that, a even Steven. Then that's fine. I think Dalton Kincaid has been playing better than Fairmouth has been out for a couple. He missed a couple months of the season or something like that. So, but I do like Dalton Kincaid. He stepped up into that starting tight end role. Gabe Davis, I'm not sure if he's going to play. I would hope so. I know he got injured in that game against Miami. Pickens needs to get going, and so does Johnson for the Steelers. Harris and Warren, I like their combination. I like Fournette for Buffalo as well. I think change the pace back. He's more of a power back. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. he had like over 140 catches in a couple of years he was with Tampa Bay when Tom Brady was there. So, he there's a lot of good going on right there if they just utilize him right. But Josh Allen he leads the league in terms of quarterbacks rushing touchdowns. So, and he's up there in passing touchdowns as well. Defense, I'm going Buffalo. I think with TJ Watt, his injury and the way that the Bills have played the last couple of weeks, they held the Dolphins to 14, the number one overall offense. They held them to 20 early in the season. They held the who else did they play? The Chiefs. They held them to the Chiefs have kind of been struggling, but they held the Chiefs to like 17. They held the Cowboys to 13.
Yep.
So, they held them to 10. They held them to 10. In a nice weather game until I guess the rain started. But I think this defense is starting to figure it out, starting to play a lot better compared to how they were early in the season. I know early in the season they had a lot of injuries, but I think they started to figure it out. Congratulations to Pittsburgh for making it this far. Watt is out. Rudolph is your starting quarterback. You're going to Buffalo. I don't know. I don't see it. So I'm going 34-13. I don't think this game's going to be close. I don't really have a lot of faith, but I'm going with the Bills 34-13. Speaking of that, I forgot to mention this, but it's really a disservice to put the Chiefs versus the Dolphins on Peacock. Only Peacock.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, man.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. I don't know how
I'm
that
I'm not trying to.
That's very disappointing.
It should have. Yeah.
First, you put them in Germany.
Yeah.
And this game was supposed to be.
And it's supposed to be on.
Against his former team, and that game's in Germany, and now you put them on Peacock only. I get it; it's a Saturday night game, it's prime time, but man, there's got to be a better way. But it's what it is, I guess.
Is it because of the Chiefs' offense? Is it because of injuries?
They're trying to push the app.
Oh, if Peacock and get money. Okay, so they feel like that might be the best matchup to put on Peacock.
I would have rather put the Bills Steelers on there.
They ain't taking that. They want
that offense. Offense. They ain't taking.
I'm not taking that. I'm not watching.
I would rather have
a Peacock.
I'd rather put that game on national TV than put it on a streaming service. But that's just me.
Yeah, I think that's why they did it, because I think they know that that's going to attract the most people to the streaming service.
Some people don't have Peacock. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I got it, but it came with a little box on the cables.
So some people.
I don't know. I don't have it.
I got it, but
I don't have the pay version. I don't know. That'll be a decision I make Saturday night.
I think they got a free trial or something like that. You might be able to do.
Yeah, I might be. I don't know. We'll see. I'll figure it out. All right. Mo, Packers versus Cowboys. Who you got?
It's gonna be quick. We for coaching, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the floor. I'm gonna go to the floor coaching. I just think for that, you gotta think he took a lot of heat for drafting Love, and I think it was big for them to make the playoffs this year because a lot of people said that was a wide receiver.
I love that pick.
Yeah,
I wish we picked Love, man.
I understand it, but at that time, still, it was a wide receiver
that's
draft, and a lot of people thought they would get Aaron Rodgers' help. But unforeseen the circumstances that happen now, I think it was big for that organization to now make the playoffs after you made that move. Like you want.
If Jordan Love plays like Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre, that'll be great. That'll be 3 in a row. That's almost unheard of.
Yeah, if you go 3 straight great quarterbacks in a row,
that's crazy. They got a system there.
Yeah. Offensively, I'm gonna go Dallas. I think if it wasn't for Lamar going ham or doing what he did back to back with Miami and with San Fran, I think that would have a great case for MVP. CeeDee Lamb, I think I don't know. I know you can't share award, but what CeeDee Lamb has done, I think him and
Crazy.
McCaffrey should share Offensive Player of the Year, but I know you can't do that.
CD has been crazy.
Yeah, CeeDee's just been on another level, and it's almost like it's going to him because nobody in Dallas really threatening as a number 2. I mean, Cooks don't really do nothing. Gallup been disappearing, so it's not like Dallas got a true number 2. You almost know it's going to be CD or bust almost, and they still get the ball to him. Defensively, I'm gonna go Dallas still. Just Parsons, Bland with 9 picks, Dexter Lawrence. Just their defense overall. Even Gilmore. I can only imagine how it would have been if Weston could stay healthy the whole year. If Diggs was healthy the whole year with them 3, that would just been incredible. I don't want to disrespect Green Bay. I try not to, but I'm sorry. I think it's going to be a blowout. I think the only way they can win this thing is if they run the ball. I love Love, but if this gets to a shootout where he got to start slinging that thing around the barn, this is not going to be good. In Dallas, I think they're going to have balance. They're going to use play action. If they get into a straight drop back, we got max scores. I love Love. He's had a heck of a season, but I don't think they're going to be able to do that against Dallas. So I'm going to go 35-20 Dallas.
All right. Craig, Packers versus Cowboys. Who you got?
I'm going with Mike McCarthy as the coach. The team surprisingly won the division. I didn't have that. I didn't have him winning the division. I thought he was finally going to get her first back-to-backer since 04. But they were able to persevere and win the division. I think there's still some issues there with McCarthy, but that I think are never going away, and that's with time management. But overall, I think he's done a great job. I think they had 12 wins last year, so another 12-win season. Matt LaFleur, I think what he got out of Jordan Love, I think is more than what I thought he's going to get out of Jordan Love. So I got to give him credit for that. But I think I'm just going to take the Cowboys just because I think they won the division. I think if this had been the same matchup, but Cowboys didn't win the division, I'd probably go with LaFleur. But I think it's pretty close. Offense, I'm going with the Cowboys. Dak Prescott had his best season ever. I think they still need to figure some things out with the running game, but CeeDee Lamb is. I mean, I thought even though he missed one game, I thought Hill was going to run away with the yardage and everything like that and be the best wide receiver, but. I mean, CeeDee Lamb came out of nowhere and just came back and made it a close race. I think he led the league in reception. So, CeeDee Lamb, he. I mean, a lot of people were questioning is he a number 1 early in the season when like the first 5 or 6 games he only had 1 touchdown and there was questions about it and he just took off from that point on and he's been excelling ever since. I think they need to figure.
He told McCarthy to feed me. He was like, "Get me touches."
I think Brandon Cooks needs to tell Mike McCarthy to feed me too because he's not getting the ball. He doesn't get the ball enough to be a number. I think they need to figure that out. I like Ferguson for the tight end, but I think they got some things they need to figure out with who's going to be that number 2 guy. I do like the receiver. I do like Jordan Love. I'm sorry. He's been balling. Like I said, he's had a better season than I thought. He had 30 touchdowns this year, which is, I mean, at one point in time, there was a time where they were losing games and he was throwing picks that I don't think there were questions about him. And then he just like CeeDee Lamb, he took off and then he hasn't looked back and he's been having a great season. And he's done it without Watson for the most part. I think he's just out. So he's also done it without a really good running game because
Aaron Jones was hurt for a long time. Yeah.
AJ Dillon is he's okay, but I mean, they didn't really get much out of that running game at all this season. So, defense, I'm going with the Cowboys. Cowboys have a really great defense. Bland, like Mo mentioned, Bland leads the league in interceptions. Parsons, he's a beast. So I mean, even though they lost Diggs early in the season, I think Gilmore, when he wants to step up and shut somebody down, I think he can step up and at least contain them for the most part. I think he can contain them, and I don't think there's anybody on that defense. I mean, on that offense that scares you in terms of being a wide receiver. Reed he's been the number one wide receiver for that team. I think Dobbs has been serviceable, but nobody really scares you in terms of a wide receiver. So I don't know if this game is going to be a close one. I don't think it's going to be close. I think Dallas. I think maybe Green Bay kind of scores later to make it a little bit closer, but I think Dallas wins 37-23.
Yeah, I'm on agreement with both of you. So I think that for the head coach, I'm gonna have to go Matt LaFleur just because of what he got out of that young team. They have the youngest team in the NFL and they're in the playoffs. That's a lot to build on. That says a lot about the culture. That says a lot about Jordan Love, and that also says a lot about Matt LaFleur. Young men that believe in you and play at a high level, I think that has to be noted because that's what coaching is at the highest level. Just to get that extra motivation out where you're able to go to the playoffs with a young team. I like Mike McCarthy. Like I said earlier, he might be a better coach than Sean Payton. And 12-5 again, and he has a chance this year. I know me and Craig have them in the Super Bowl, but this is a year that they could do it. Everything is on the table for them. This is a year the Cowboys could do it. Same with the Bills.
I picked my Super Bowl pick.
Huh?
I picked Dallas my Super Bowl pick.
You did too. You did too. Yep, you had Denver, Cincinnati. We had the Chiefs. Yes, you're right. You did. So all of us this year, this is the best chance for them and the Bills. It could be a Bills versus Cowboys Super Bowl. This is the year where Chiefs are down. But I don't know. Lamar is something else, but we'll get to that next week. But as far as coaching, I'm gonna go Matt LaFleur. Offense, I gotta go the Cowboys, man. First of all, Dak is playing at a phenomenal level, and I joke with this with my friend Tyler all the time, and he gets upset. You're gonna have to pay Dak. You're gonna have to pay him. Then he gets mad at that, like, oh, he's not worth it. He's proven it this year. He is. If they go as far as the Super Bowl, you have to pay him. You have to, and goodness, if the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, we're not gonna hear the end of that for another 30 years. Because that's going to be on TV all the time. You think you're tired of the Cowboys now, Craig? Let them win the Super Bowl, man. Let them even go to the Super Bowl. We're going to hear Cowboys fans, and Cowboys are going to be just talking crazy. But and I'm agreeing with CeeDee Lamb, man. He's the number one. Some could say he's the best receiver in the NFL. I mean, he's close to Tyreek Hill. He's balling, guys. And Mike McCarthy, this is another shout out to Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy gives him the ball. CeeDee Lamb is in motion. CeeDee Lamb runs the ball. CeeDee Lamb lines up in the slot. CeeDee Lamb lines up outside. So shout out to them. The defense, I'm going Cowboys. The Packers defense sucks. I don't like Joe Barry. He was a defensive coordinator here. He sucked. He's a defensive coordinator there. He sucked. They need to move on from him. He just is. I think he's a good position coach. I don't think he's a defensive coordinator. I think that's going to hurt him in the playoffs. You need to be able to stop people and create turnovers. I think the Cowboys do that a lot better than the Packers do that. And I think the Packers are. I don't think it's even the age. I think it's the defense that's going to get them. And I think the Cowboys have an overall better team and they have more talent than the Packers. So I think this is going to be like the Steelers and the Bills game. We get them every year, and it's always a 7 seed. But I think the Cowboys dominate the Packers, and I think it's 35-17. All right, Craig, very interesting pick. I want to hear you on this. Rams versus Lions. Who you got?
Coach, I'm going Dan Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
Sean McVay, he's had a great season. I didn't have the Rams in the playoffs. I did have the Lions, but I didn't. I mean, I think I had the Lions with like 10 wins or something like that. So I didn't have them at 12. But like I said, I didn't have the Rams the way they are, the way they've been playing, especially when they had Cooper Kupp out early in the season, and they were having issues at the running back position with Cam Akers and trying to figure that whole thing out. And then Puka Nacua came out of nowhere, and I mean he lit it up from the beginning of the season. But I gotta go with Dan Campbell. I think he has this team playing excellent. I think they got cheated out of a win, so I think they should have had 13 wins, and I think they could have been the number 2 seed, possibly playing for the number 1 seed, because the 49ers would have had something to play for if they had gotten that win against Dallas. But what Dan Campbell has done the last couple of years, getting this team, they progressed pretty much each year that he's been there. And I mean, like the Lions haven't been this good since maybe the 90s or something like that. I know they had Stafford, they went to the playoffs with Megatron and all that, but
I think the 90s, when they had Barry Sanders.
I mean, they haven't won a division since the 90s anyway. So, I mean, yeah. Offense, I'm going this is tough because it's another good one. I'm going with the Lions. It's close though. I think the Stafford is the more experienced quarterback. He's won a Super Bowl. You look at Goff. Goff's having a better season this year. I think he has 30 touchdowns. Puka Nacua. I mean, he set the rookie record, I believe, for receiving yards, touchdowns, maybe even receptions. I'm not sure. I got to double check that. I think Moes said something like that earlier, so I got to double check it because I can't remember off the top of my head anyway.
Craig, it was 1991 and 93 the last time they were divisional champions.
Yeah, that's been a long time ago. But Puka Nacua, he's really good. Cooper Kupp, I've always said I think Cooper Kupp's overrated, but I mean I know he had a really great season a couple years back, and that was his best season ever, and he hasn't really come close to touching that since. I know he's been dealing with injuries and things like that. Excuse me, but when he is on the field, he's phenomenal. He's a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL. But Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's amazing. Then they have 2 running backs as well with Diggs and Montgomery. Montgomery had 1,000 yards this year, even though he missed a couple games due to injury, and Gibbs was right there, and he's been catching the ball out of the backfield. So it's close just because the quarterbacks are kind of even. But I think Goff has had. I mean, like I said, Goff has had a better season this year. Stafford's had a better career, and then you look at the running backs. I'm going Lions. The wide receivers, I'm going Rams. But I've got to give it slightly to the Lions. Defense, this is another really good one. I mean, it's close. I mean, I think the Lions are 19th in defense. The Rams are 20th or something like that. They both had the same amount of sacks at 41. So I mean, it's just like this could be an easy pick 'em. But I'm going with the Lions slightly just because I like Hutchinson. He's younger. He's right now he's getting to the quarterback. He had a phenomenal game against the Cowboys, even though they ended up losing that game. I think he had a career high in that game in terms of sacks. Aaron Donald to me is I don't even know if he's been in and out. I think he's been up and down this year. Like he hasn't been that same dominant Aaron Donald that he's getting older, I guess, but he hasn't been that same dominant Aaron Donald that we've seen over the last few years. But I think this is going to be a really good game. I'm really looking forward to this game, probably the most out of any other games. Maybe besides that Dolphins and Chiefs game, because it's kind of intriguing. But I'm going to go with the Lions in this one. I got them moving on to the championship game, so I can't stay away from that right now, even though this is a tough matchup for them. But I'm going Lions 37-33.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be one of the great playoff games. I think this is going to, in the words of my man Tio, get your popcorn. It's on Sunday night at 8 p.m. This is going to be live. This is what the NFL pays. This is the prime time. They got two good games on that 8 p.m. The 8 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. Coaching, I got Sean McVay, man. I think what he did with this young team with Matthew Stafford, people had them dead in the water. And the last 5 weeks in the NFL season, the only team they lose to is the Ravens, and in overtime, and the Ravens have been dominating everybody. That is straight coaching. That's Sean McVay, man. I gotta give it to him. And I love Dan Campbell. This is the first time they won a conference championship in 20 years. I get that. I understand that. But everybody, the expectation for the Lions entering the season was to be exactly where they are. The number 2 seed, the number 3 seed, or the number 1 seed. That's what everybody had them at. Nope. A lot of people didn't have the Rams in the playoffs. I didn't. I know a lot of people didn't have them in the playoffs. And I think that's coaching. Hands down, bottom line, I think it's Sean McVay. Offense, I'm not going to lie, it's tricky. Because the Lions' offense, they have 2 good running backs. They have Gibbs and Montgomery. They have Jared Goff. They got Ahmad St. Brown. Their offense is nice. The Lions' offense is nice. And then the Rams' offense, you got Kyron Williams, Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, and Cooper Kupp. Now, I'm going to go slightly with the Rams' offense, and the only reason is because the phenomenal rookie for the Detroit Lions is out. Sam Laporta. I think he changes the dynamic of the offense. And I mean, he has an outside shot to play. He has a knee injury. A lot of people say that he's not going to play. You know, he has a knee injury. He's a hyperextended left knee with the bone bruise.
I didn't know that.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if he plays this week. That's tough. Bone bruise, hyperextended. That's why I'm giving it to the Rams, because I think their offense is better than the Lions. And the defense, I'm not gonna lie that this is a closely matched game, man. The defense is right there. I'm gonna go towards the Lions defense. I think Hutchinson is, man. Could you imagine if Jaguars drafted Hutchinson, they'd be in the playoffs with Josh Allen on one end and Hutchinson on the other? The Jaguars would have been in the playoffs. They would have been in the playoffs. Hutchinson would have gave him a game or two. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. We all knew we all knew what Jacksonville should have done. We all said they should draft Hutchinson. But I like Hutchinson. I think he gives an edge for the Lions defense. I'm not gonna lie, guys. This game is going to be phenomenal. Like I said, get your popcorn ready. This is going to be edge of your seat, close game. Maybe overtime. I'm going the Rams beating Detroit in Detroit, and I got the Rams winning 31-28. Mo, Rams versus Lions, who you got?
Coaching. There's another one where it's like you could go push, but I know we don't do that no more. I'm gonna go push.
It's just look down.
I'm gonna go McVay because, and I get, and there's no slight to Dan Campbell, but what people got to realize is when you go all in like they did for the Super Bowl and to deal with the season he went with last year, and it was like, okay, he might take a year off, he might take a year back, and to come back, like to deal with Stafford injury the year before and Baker being there and all that stuff, and then to try to reset with a brand new young team. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they got one of the top 3 or 4 youngest teams in the NFL. They built their defense around just Donald and a bunch of like rookies and second year, third year unproven players. Offensively, you draft a rookie in the 5th round and do some of the things with him that you would do with Cooper Kupp. He's out there breaking records. You know, you go with a running back who's a second year running back, second, third year running back from Texas A&M, and you know, he's taking off. So I really love the job McVay has done. And you know, just how he's motivated his team. He got the defense going. Raheem Morris is going to get interviews. He's going to get several interviews, multiple interviews. For a head coach job. So I'm gonna go with Rams. I'm gonna go with McVay. Offensively, I'm gonna lean Detroit. I love Brown. And I'm only doing this because of the mixture of Brown, who's heated. He really came out and said he's heated, that he was a Pro Bowl snub. But if you go Montgomery and Gibbs, just that 1-2 punch has been dynamic. A lot of people probably looked at the Rams like, whoa, like you drafted a running back that high, but he's been dynamic. He's been that second back, that piece that they wanted to add. Jameis Williamson, who came from Alabama of the ACL tear, he's starting to be a ball player for him. Defensively, I'm gonna take Detroit only because of Hutchinson, game changer. I totally agree with James. You only imagine him with Josh Allen. Oh my goodness! Like Josh Allen had, think about it. Like Josh Allen had, I think, 16 sacks this season. So imagine with him on one-on-one and double. Like you just had to pick your poison.
It'd been crazy. They have a top defense. They would have won the division.
But shout out to Walker. He did improve his sack total by 5 or 6. He did get, I think, 9 this year or 10. I think he only had like 4 his rookie year, or 3 his rookie year. And I think this year he had like 6. I think he had like 9 this year. So he is improving. In this game, listen. I think it is. This is going to probably be the closest game or the tightest game, the most watched game of the weekend. I'm going to go Rams in the upset. I'm going to go 27-24, which this will put the Rams at San Francisco, division rivalry, and it'll put Philly at Dallas. Now, this is where Sirianni might get a lot of looks, and I know it's crazy, but if he go back to Dallas, division rival, and lose in the playoffs, I'm not saying this season, but next season he definitely had to do something. Like that's gonna be a wild thing, especially how they ended this season. I'm saying Philly fans is rough. The city of Philly is rough.
They rough. They calling for his head, man, which is crazy.
Even if he beat Tampa, if he goes to Dallas and lose, I think next season he got to produce a Super Bowl or produce something. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's just Philly fans.
Yeah, it's just Philly fans, right?
Yeah, they put a lot of pressure. We've seen it before.
No. And Andy
Reid.
No,
I'm telling you, Greg, I'm telling you, Philly fans just. I know, but Philly fans are. Yeah, but they're saying, especially if they lose to the Bucks, they don't. I don't know, man. They don't. Some Philly fans don't like Sirianni. Me, I think it's crazy. He just got to a Super Bowl.
Now, let me ask y'all this though. I know we said McCarthy's straight, right? But in this scenario right here, if the Rams beat Detroit, they go to San Fran. Philly wins, they going to Dallas, right? It falls like this. If he loses a third straight divisional game, and then to his division rival at home, do you think it's a mean conversation? Do you think he that safe?
We're gonna get to the Eagles and Bucks, but I don't think they're gonna beat Dallas in Dallas the way they're playing. I don't think that's gonna happen. Anyway, Eagles versus Bucks. Coaching, I gotta go Todd Bowles, man, because he has the Bucks in the playoffs. And the problem with Sirianni is, I think, to be honest with you, I think those two coordinators hurt him. But people are like, I don't understand Philly fans. I get Philly fans. I don't have any patience when it comes to my team.
Yeah, but your team doesn't win.
well, like the Lakers, like I get impatient with the Lakers. Yeah, but I'm just saying, no, not Commanders. No, I don't care. But it's like you with Carolina. It's like no, we're used to Carolina college basketball. You're used to winning, and you're like, no, we're at a certain level. I think that's what Philly fans are coming from. I think they're thinking with their heart, not their head. I think Nick Sirianni's a good coach. I think this just happens in the NFL. It's your players are hurt. It gets tired. It's the end of the season. They're not playing well. You lose two coordinators. So I think coaching is important, but I got to give it to Todd Bowles. Offense, I'm going Eagles. Now, listen, they got to get it together, but they have A.J. Brown, who played really well this year. They have Devontae Smith. They have Jalen Hurts. Their O-line is good. They have DeAndre Swift, who's a 1,000-yard runner. I don't know what's going on with this team, but they got to figure it out quickly. But I think their offense is better than the Bucks offense. No disrespect to Baker Mayfield, but I'm going with Jalen Hurts every time versus Baker Mayfield. That's just me. Defense, I like the Bucks defense because the Eagles defense is terrible. The Eagles defense is horrible, man. They've been horrible for all year. They started out good, and then it's just like teams just kept piling points on them. And then you start looking like, wait a minute, is that Tommy DeVito putting points on him and Tyrod Taylor? And I get Kyler Murray. I get Kyler Murray. I think he's a good quarterback. But their defense was leaking. And, this time of year when you start leaking, that's not good. It's not good when you go into the playoffs and losing. But at the end of the day, I like the Eagles, and I don't think they win. And it's okay, Eagles fans. Y'all, when you're a team that stumbles in the playoffs and you've had a chance and you were 10-1 and now you're 11-5, I just don't think you can overcome it. And they just went to the Super Bowl last year, so I don't think this season is a failure at all. I think it's they had a bad end of the year, but they just went to the Super Bowl last year. Teams that go to the Super Bowl don't have good years after. You know what I'm saying? So it was up and down year, but I think the Bucks pull us out, and it's not even upset. That defense and Philly keeps saying we're going to fix it. We're committed, and they keep saying the same things over and over again without any change. And I don't think that's going to happen in the NFL. I don't think you go far in the playoffs. And James Jones and Greg Jennings says this all the time. They were like, when we were 15-1, when they played with the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, they said they lost the first round of playoffs. And they kept saying the same thing the Eagles players kept saying. Oh, we got to get it together. We need to be committed. We can't we got to work on our turnovers. So that's just coming from the NFL's players' perspective, that sometimes when you're in a bad rut like that, you don't get out of it. When you're not playing good and you play a team that you're better than, but you play down to that level of competition, you lose. So I got the Bucks beating the Eagles 24-17. Mo, Eagles versus Bucks. Who you got?
Coaching, I don't have a problem going with Todd Bowles. Yeah, it sounds weird. I know the South has been a terrible division, but 3 years in a row is 3 years in a row to me. I know it's been a terrible division, but that's 3 years.
3 years.
That's 3 years in a row that they've won. So I definitely salute that. Offensively, I'm still gonna go Philly. I understand this look bad. I understand Hurts or whatever, but man, if you go Swift, Devontae Smith, I don't know about Brown's status yet, about that injury. But in total, defensively, I go Tampa. I mean, just because just how bad Phillies look defensively. I'm gonna say for this game, it's a wake-up call. I agree they're losing Dallas the next week. And we'll get to that next week, but I think they're losing Dallas the following week. But I think Tampa Bay doesn't have enough. We don't know. I get that. The Panthers are a top 2 or 3 defense, but that was an ugly game. And it wasn't like it was bad weather or nothing like that. And I just don't see Tampa. It didn't look good. So I don't see them just coming out there and just throwing up multiple scores on Philly. Especially I think Philly's going to lock in. And I think just Philly's in this situation, Philly's talent is going to take over just for this game. I got Philly winning 27-10.
Wow. Okay. Goodness. Craig. Eagles versus Bucks. Who you got?
Okay, so I got Todd Bowles. Just because the way the Eagles have finished the season, losing 5 of their last 6 games, but all they had to do was just win 1 to win the division. Todd Bowles took the team that I didn't see nowhere near the playoffs. I think I had them like 4 wins, and they ended up winning 9 and ended up winning the division. So I definitely and Todd Bowles I think was coaching for his job this year. Pretty much like almost every coach in the NFC South, just because the division was so up for grabs and there was no clear-cut favorite. So the job that he's done and what he's gotten out of Baker Mayfield this year, Baker Mayfield probably arguably had his best season ever. And I think he's resurrected his career. So I got to go Todd Bowles. Offense, I'm going Philly, just because they can run the ball. I think both teams can pass. Both teams have really good wide receivers, Godwin and Evans, and then you got Brown and Smith for the Eagles. But it comes down to the running game. I think the Eagles have a better running game, running attack. I don't think the Bucks don't really run the ball. Not only do they not run the ball well, but they usually pass the ball to White out of the backfield a little bit more. So he's getting a lot of receptions are getting thrown to the running back. Swift had a 1,000-yard season, and they also have Jalen Hurts who can run as well. So they also do that Philly brotherly shove thing that's around the league. So they're getting a lot of rushing touchdowns there and converting 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, or whatever the case may be with that offense. But their running game is a lot of people say they need to run the ball more and everything like that, which is true. But I think when they do run the ball more effective than the than the Bucks do. Defense, I can't pick the Eagles. I don't know what's up with that defense. I can't really put just the blame on, I guess, but I can't really put all the blame on just they got a new defensive coordinator. They went out and they traded for Kevin Byard. They have Hassan Reddick on the team. Hassan Reddick was dropping back in coverage a couple times.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like it's I don't understand what's going on. Like he's not even. Last year I think he was one of the top players in the league in sacks. This year he's dropping back in coverage a couple times. It's just crazy. The defensive line is getting old. Obviously, guys like Fletcher Cox. I thought Slay and Bradbury would play better. Like I said, they went out and got Kevin Byard from the Titans. I'm just confused. I don't know what team I'm looking at here. The Bucks still have pretty much a lot of the same guys that were on that Super Bowl team, so nobody really has stood out. But it's not like their defense is a top 5 defense like it was that year or whatever, a top 10. Just the Eagles' defense is so bad. In this game, Baker Mayfield, in the games he's won, he's thrown 17 touchdowns and like 3 picks, which and he's thrown 28 total. So he's having a great year in the games that he's led his teams to wins. I'm not sure how healthy Jalen Hurts is. I mean, I think if you lose this game and you're Philly, I think you can just chalk it up to or have a pass by saying Jalen Hurts was hurt.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like an out. And plus, they went to the bowl last year. I think he comes back. I mean, the you can make a case for argument for how bad the offense and defense have been, but I think it all starts with the quarterback, and I think you have an out for that. So I wouldn't be mad about that if that was the case and he has surgery or something like that in the offseason, or we find out that he has to have surgery in the offseason. So I'm going with the Bucs. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if either one of these teams win. I'm not going to be shocked either way. I just think that I know these teams, and the crazy thing is that these teams play in like week 3 of the season, and Philly had arguably their best defensive game. They held the Bucs to under 200 yards total offense. They only gave up 11 points. I mean, that's the last time we've seen the Eagles look like the Eagles Super Bowl defense, and they haven't been like that since. So I got the Bucs in this one. It's a home game. Baker Mayfield's I would assume he's going to play better than he played against Carolina. That was a road game, but I'm going Bucs 27-24.
Yeah, Mo. I'm just worried about the Eagles, yo. I'm just worried about them, yo. Oh, shout out to this before we get off, guys. Eric Sprosa and the Heat agreed to report an 8-year, $120 million contract. Oh, golly! He's a good coach.
Yeah, they say it's the most money ever. It's the most money ever committed. It's the most committed money, like I guess guaranteed or committed money to a coach in NBA history.
And I feel like after he's coaching, he's going to go into the front office.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because he's won even after LeBron and Wade and all them left. Like, maybe not a championship, but he still won at a high level without them.
Yeah.
You know, even after they left. I guess a lot of people say, he ain't winning without them. And he still made NBA finals and East Conference finals without him. You know.
Yeah, man. So that's awesome. For the Heat. We're definitely going to be starting to get into more NBA talks next week because that season is starting to pick up. College basketball is starting to pick up. And are y'all going to watch the spring football? Now the XFL and
I watch football.
USFL?
I'm going to watch it.
Did you, Craig?
I watched it last year.
So you watched the USFL last year or the XFL?
I watched the XFL last year. I already followed the DC team last year. I already got into it.
Oh, okay.
And the good thing is a lot of ex-NFL players coaching those teams or ex-coaches. Like Wade Phillips has a team. Anthony Beck, he's played tight end for, I think, the coach in the Jets. He has a team. Reggie Barlow, who's played linebacker in the league. He coaching the DC team.
So
I think Hines Ward had a team, but when they merged, I don't think he has a team anymore. I don't think Hines Ward has a team.
They definitely merged.
They start March 30th.
Yeah. So Craig, what do you watch some of the? Did you watch the XFL and the USFL?
Yeah, I watched both of them. I don't know. I got to look more into it because I know that they merged a few weeks ago, but I got to figure out what the rules are going forward. I know XFL had some rules, I guess, that I thought some of them were pretty cool, but I don't think the USFL had those same rules. I could be wrong.
They did. They didn't have the same rules.
So I mean something similar or something crazy like they had with the whole 2-point conversion stuff or the onside kick. They didn't have an onside kick in the fourth quarter, stuff like that, which I thought was cool. So I want to see what the rule changes are going to be. I know there's only 8 teams, so yeah, I'm going to watch it because it's more football. But
they did lower the teams.
Yeah. Yep, 8 teams is from Seattle, Washington D.C. still has it.
They pick certain markets. I think
they got like 3 in Texas or 2 in Texas or something like that, and they still got the Birmingham team. The Birmingham team was the back-to-back champs in the USFL.
Yeah, they still got the St. Louis team. They still got the St. Louis team.
Memphis? No, hold on.
I think it's the UFL now. Unified or something.
Yeah, let me look it up. Yeah, because I'm trying to find it out. It's not the USFL, so it's the UFL, right?
United Football League, UFL.
Yeah.
So I think they took some teams that were in the USFL, and they took a couple teams that were in XFL. And I think they merged one team.
Yeah.
To be a team. I think that team.
Which makes sense. 4 from each. So it's the Birmingham Stallions, the Arlington Renegades, the Houston Roughnecks, the DC Defenders, which is nice. Maybe we should go to a game this year. You know, Memphis Showboats. We should all go to a game for real.
And the ticket's not that much.
Nah, we could do that. Memphis Showboats, San Antonio Brahmas, St. Louis Battlehawks,
Wade
and
Phillips got one of the teams too. Yeah, Wade Phillips got one of them. I think he got the Roughnecks.
Where's Arlington? Is that Dallas?
I think Wade Phillips got that team.
Not Dallas. I'm sorry, Arlington, Texas.
Yeah.
So and here's the head coaches: Skip Holtz, Curtis Johnson, John Del Flippo, Mike Nolan, Anthony Beck, Wade Phillips, Reggie Barlow, and Bob Stoops.
Yeah, Bob Stoops. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's. Yeah. So it's 2. You're right. This is. I mean, I'm gonna watch it this year. Maybe we can go to a game. But yeah, United Football League, very interesting. On March 30th. Yeah. So all right, guys.
Hey, I don't know what's going on right quick, but number 2 then lost today. Number 2 lost. Houston lost to Iowa State.
Yeah, I just saw that.
And number 1 is down 11 in the second half. Purdue is down 11 to Indiana. I mean Nebraska. Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, don't pick them in the tournament. But anyway, guys, we're definitely we'll be back next week. Around 7 Eastern time. You can always catch us on podcast, man. You can follow us on IG, TikTok, YouTube, and you can listen to us everywhere where podcasts will be. All right, guys. We will see y'all next week. Y'all have a good one. We're out. Peace.